9 powerful cultivators came to my vegetable garden. But they were far too small to even defeat a spider. Luckily, my finger arrived in time to save them. Ah, I was too hasty and it got a bit dirty. I should have poked it with a twig. Just what kind of monstrous being was he? The chaos demon orb that even the 9 of US saints couldn't withstand was instantly annihilated by him. Thank you for your help, Senior. May I ask which ruler of the immortal realm you are? We are cultivators who ascended from the lower realm. If you don't mind, Senior, I would like to join your sect. I humbly request that you take us in. This is not only a heaven-defying opportunity but also our only chance to survive in the immortal realm. The ascended cultivators around the world tree serve as a warning. Although it is presumptuous of me, I still beg you to take me in. Even if it's just as a servant. I am just a sect leader suffering from a terminal illness. Just an ordinary person who's died. I have no sect and am not some kind of ruler. These were ordinary words, but they struck the ears of the little people like a thunderclap. They were even more terrified and knelt down, pleading. Please, Senior, take us in. We are willing to serve you, even if we don't become your disciples. I'm not some great figure. But don't worry, I will try my best to protect you. As for serving you, we can talk about it later. The other little people nodded in agreement. In their eyes, I was undoubtedly an extremely powerful being. To serve me was an honor for them. Keeping a bunch of little people around seemed quite fun. Otherwise, it would be a pity if they were killed by some insects or small animals. I'm not some great figure, but I will try my best to protect you. Hearing their promise, the little people felt that they had gained a foothold in this world and their hearts relaxed. Exhausted, they all fainted. What happened? Are they really going to die? I reached out to touch them, but feared crushing them with too much force. So I first freed the little ones trapped by the spider silk and told them to check on their unconscious companions. Go check on your companions. As you command. I reported to the immortal. They're all right. They just exhausted themselves in the battle with the chaotic demons. Their energy is low, so they fainted. In simpler terms, they fainted from hunger, right? Chin Feng casually pulled half a loaf of bread from his pocket. That's all. Just half a loaf. Have some. Chen Feng placed the bread on the ground. But to the little ones, Chen Feng's action was incredibly shocking. His entire arm was like a pillar supporting the sky. The large hand holding the bread lowered like a falling meteorite. Such power. In the mortal realm, a single palm strike could probably destroy a country. Thank you for the gift, Immortal. We are extremely grateful. Don't be polite. Eat slowly. The little ones regained their strength after eating and could fly slowly again. How interesting. It's like raising a. After eating and drinking their fill like a group of small animals, the little creatures decided to try and get closer to the immortal. Perhaps with a little friendship, they could become disciples of the immortal. Thank you for saving our lives, Immortal. We are willing to follow you to the death. A mere half piece of bread is nothing to worry about. By the way, living here is quite dangerous for you. You might be attacked by snakes, insects, and rodents. Perhaps I can change your environment? It's all up to the immortal's arrangement. Cheng Feng held them in his hands and walked towards the house. But as soon as he took them 3 meters away from the sapling, the little creatures' bodies began to wither rapidly. Their life force rapidly draining away. Imperial. What's going on? Let's put them back first. You seem unable to leave the area of this tree. You see and joined the Wind Riding sect. The little creatures felt regretful, but they could only accept their fate. After all, they were weak and couldn't leave this world tree. This tree seems extraordinary. Has the spiritual energy in our world been revived? Cheng Feng posted his question on the forum. Soon, he received a series of replies. Have you seen any flying little creatures around your house? Like those flying, escaping, sword immortals, demons, fairies, etc. In the cultivation world? Are there any female cultivators among the little people you mentioned? If so, could you check her constitution to see if the female immortal's body structure is the same as ours? Ugh. These are all unreliable answers, not helpful at all. If there's no spiritual energy revival on Earth, are those little people in the vegetable garden only here with me? The next day, I came to the vegetable garden again. Unexpectedly, in just one night, the little people had already built their own cave dwellings. Amazing. Ha! They're cultivating. If I could also cultivate immortal power, my terminal illness might be cured. County Magistrate, you've arrived. I just wanted to ask if you could teach me your cultivation method? Immortal Senior. Is it inconvenient for you to want our cultivation method? No. It's just that you're so powerful. Are you stupid? Perhaps the immortal just wanted to see. No. I actually want to cultivate your method. It's like this. There's no cultivation method in this world, and I find your cultivation method quite interesting, so I want to try it. We don't know what kind of constitution immortals have, and our method is different for each constitution. Therefore, it's better to hand over all the cultivation methods to you and let the senior decide for himself. We can begin the transmission. Following the instructions of the lowly ones, Chen Feng lowered his head. The Kunlun fairy first taught him the Kunlun sword technique. A small point of light shot into Chen Feng's eyes. And instantly, that small point of light transformed into a stream of cultivation knowledge that entered Chen Feng's mind. It was very detailed, and he had some understanding, but it seemed very vague. How come the immortal didn't feel anything? It seems I was overthinking things. How could these lowly people's cultivation methods be suitable for someone like me who is about to die? It's all right. I've done my best and left the rest to fate. You don't need to blame yourselves for not helping me. It seems the senior is quite kind. All right, that's settled then. You cultivate slowly. I'll go do some work first. Wait, perhaps the senior has another cultivation method suitable for you. The Kunlun fairy's cultivation method still has flaws, but the immortal can try it. Perhaps the immortal's physique is special. Because that cultivation method is the culmination of the life's work of the 9 saints. If the immortal is willing, he can give it a try. Anyway, he will die soon, so he can take a gamble now. Maybe there will be a turning point. Then you will transmit the cultivation method to me. Immortal, please sit down. Those who walk without turbidity and are born with knowledge of heaven have smooth meridians. The 8 meridians surged like a raging torrent, unlike the previous indifference. 6 minutes this cultivation method entered his mind with a feeling of sudden enlightenment. This cultivation method was very peculiar, as if it had come alive and resonated perfectly with him, actively providing him with services. Following the cultivation method and adjusting his breathing, Chen Feng felt a warm, hot blood flowing from his lower abdomen, which, according to his will, was transported to all parts of his body. First, it circulated in his abdomen, then traveled to his limbs and bones. After a full cycle, the heat returned to his dantian, feeling as comfortable as if he had received a 288-level massage. This cultivation method is useful, and I can cultivate it too. It's good that I can cultivate it. This demonstrates our value. From now on, our relationship won't be just Chen Feng unilaterally generating electricity for love. This is very beneficial to our survival. I didn't expect that it would actually work. It's dark now. I've only circulated my chi for 1 cycle, yet it took a whole day. No wonder they say a day in the immortal cave is like 1,000 years in the mortal world. And I can clearly feel my body improving, my strength, lung capacity, and blood circulation have all increased slightly. Even the aftereffects of ALS have lessened a bit. If I continue cultivating like this, my cancer might be completely cured. Senior Immortal, your entry speed is already quite good. An ordinary person would need much more time. What level have I reached now? 7 minutes. Have I broken through to the first level of chi refining? Judging from their attitude, I definitely haven't broken through to the chi refining level. Immortals don't need to be discouraged. The world has too little material for cultivation, or the world's rules are different from the lower realms. Difficult cultivation speed is normal. As long as the immortals. The senior felt that becoming stronger was enough. Other things didn't really matter. Cultivation was a long-term process that required time to develop. It was already good that his body had improved, at least he had a solution to his terminal illness. After these past few days, I've come to a conclusion: compared to matters of life and death, everything else in the world is trivial. Whether it's breaking up, losing someone, or losing a job. You can find someone else after a breakup, or find someone else after losing a job, or make new friends. But once life is gone, that's it. Chen Feng's stomach suddenly growled. I'm going to get something to eat. You guys wait a minute. After saying this, Chen Feng went straight to the kitchen and cooked 3 large bowls of noodles and fried 10 eggs. He cooked a whole handful of noodles, gave some to the little ones, and then ate it all himself. I only ate until I was 80% full. I've finished everything. Oh, I'll have to figure out how to buy some daily necessities tomorrow. Today was the best I've felt in 2 months since breaking up with my ex-girlfriend. And perhaps the happiest I've been in years. Before, being with Sui was mentally exhausting, and my body was worn out from all the work. I wasn't really happy. Maybe breaking up was a good choice for both of us. After a satisfying meal, Chung Feng stopped hesitating and went straight to sleep, looking forward to continuing his studies tomorrow. Meanwhile, in a corner of the city, Sui was fuming and couldn't sleep. That Cheng Feng is so persistent. We've already broken up, yet he still bothers my parents. Does he think he can make me come back? Humph. This will only make me hate him more and more. I will never forgive his actions and I will never turn back. The next day, Chen Feng got up at dawn and went to the town to buy some daily necessities. He returned home and continued his cultivation. He was immersed in this cultivation that made his body better. Today, he completed 1 cycle of cultivation, which took a full hour less than yesterday. It seems that as his body becomes stronger and he can circulate his internal energy more often, the time it takes to circulate each cycle will decrease. Humph. My body is stronger now. 9 minutes after cultivating for a few more days, I'll probably be about the same as an ordinary person. Immortal Senior, your cultivation speed is truly remarkable. You are a cultivation genius, 1 in a million in the cultivation world. No, that's an exaggeration. Actually, I know I still have a long way to go. Immortal Senior, you are being modest. In fact, even the other lowly people think that Chen Feng's cultivation. His talent is too exaggerated. In just 2 days, the pressure emanating from Chung Feng is almost suffocating them. They genuinely believe Chung Feng is a genius, not just blindly flattering him. Oh, right, it's dinner time. I bought some meat today, I'll give everyone a little something extra. He went to the kitchen and cooked white rice, stir-fried eggs, tomatoes, green peppers, and meat, and made a cabbage and tofu soup. These were all home-style dishes. He took them to the vegetable garden and ate with the little people. The little people didn't eat much, almost all of it went into Chang Fen's stomach. The energy was still too low. It seems we need to add more high-protein, nutritious foods, like beef. Chen Feng was complaining that the food in front of him didn't have enough energy. But the little people were all blushing and their bodies were burning red. This food has too much energy. I think I can't handle this food. Even more nourishing than before. Are you all right? 10 minutes. A mere plate of scrambled eggs with tomatoes and a simple plate of shredded pork with green peppers almost made them burst. It's not that exaggerated, is it? Immortal Senior, don't worry. We just ate too much. We'll be fine once we digest. Besides, this is an opportunity. If we can digest it, our strength will increase. As expected of the immortal realm, anything they casually produce is a powerful tonic, quickly restoring stamina and increasing cultivation. It's just that eating too much might cause an overload. Immortal Senior, you usually eat these kinds of things, no wonder your physical strength is so terrifying. You can crush everything with just your physical power. The immortal realm truly has many things we don't understand. What kind of world is this? I really can't comprehend how one can live in such a world. What kind of beings are these? The 9 little people struggled to their feet, sat cross-legged on the ground, and began to digest their food. After 10 minutes, the little people finally digested the power within their bodies. The nameless sword immortal was the first to awaken. How are you feeling? Chen Feng's booming voice exploded from above, resounding through the heavens. Thank you for your concern, Immortal Master. I'm fine. Not only have I digested the power within my body, but my cultivation level has also increased somewhat. In the lower realm, our cultivation had stagnated. I didn't expect that coming to the immortal realm would actually loosen up. Thank you for your generous gift, Immortal Master. I am deeply grateful. It was just some home-cooked food, yet these little people treated it as a panacea. Their aspirations are a bit low. The little gods and demons gradually awakened. They felt the power surging within their bodies and were overjoyed. They had all become stronger. Chung Feng could also feel it. I couldn't detect the aura emanating from these little figures, but the light emanating from them had brightened. So they must have become stronger. However, I felt I could still crush them with a single finger. Seeing the little figures awake, Chung Feng didn't bother with protecting them, they chatted amongst themselves. The little figures were undoubtedly grateful to Chung Feng. But he didn't pay them any mind and went about his own business. He had originally intended to continue cultivating. But then he thought that completing a full cycle would require staying up all night, which wouldn't do, so he abandoned the idea. Feeling idle, he simply picked up a hoe and started loosening the soil and digging in the yard. He had become stronger, and his strength had increased considerably. Before cultivating, he would get tired even cutting grass. But now digging in the empty space was surprisingly easy. He wondered if his terminal illness had also been resolved. He decided to go to the hospital for a checkup sometime. Then, Cheng Feng dug up all the land around the house in one go. Other people's cultivation involved fighting humans, demons, heaven, earth, and fate, fighting for the great Tao, crossing a narrow bridge, all kinds of brutal battles. But he was cultivating by digging. If word got out, he'd be laughed at by his peers. Fortunately, it seemed no one else in this world cultivated. Only he was doing it. In the following days, he continued his cultivation, clearing weeds and digging. Besides the area around his house, there was a lot of barren land nearby. Every day was fulfilling. His uncle's family would occasionally visit, but they never stayed long. No one else came, and there was no news from his phone. Cheng Feng was getting stronger and stronger, but what frustrated him was that he still hadn't broken through to the first level of qi refining. Oh well, let nature take its course. However, as he cultivated, his appetite increased. It was time to go out and buy some more food. Seeds, rice, vegetables, meat, dairy products. Chen Feng made a shopping list. I need to buy a lot of things. I can't carry them all by myself. I have to borrow my uncle's car. Closing the list, Chen Feng headed towards his uncle's house. Oh. Today the hospital in the city sent a report saying that Xiao Feng is sick, and it's cancer. He doesn't have much time left. No wonder he wanted to go back to the countryside. It wasn't entirely because of his breakup with Sui. I wonder if Sui's family knows about this. Does it matter to them? Does it matter to them? Xiao Feng is our family's child. He doesn't need anyone else's help. after you finish unloading, go see Xiaofeng. He must be in a very bad state right now. This child is so pitiful. He's seriously ill and no one is with him. Oh, let's go see Xiaofeng together later. He's suffered so much. He lost his parents at such a young age, and now he's all alone. Chen Feng was completely unaware of his uncle and aunt's discussion. On his way to his uncle's house, he didn't feel bitter at all, and he was actually quite happy during this time. He had escaped the constraints of work, truly found himself, and relaxed. Help! Help! Someone, please help! Chen Feng was shocked and rushed into the yard. He found his uncle trapped under an overturned tricycle loaded with cornstalks. His entire body was buried inside, with only his head sticking out. In his panic, his uncle rushed forward without thinking. Xiaofeng, it's you. Go find someone to help. You're all alone. Before his aunt could finish speaking, Chen Feng half squatted down and grabbed the bottom of the overturned tricycle. The tricycle actually lifted off the ground and was pushed by Chen Feng, rolling to the other side. Uncle, are you all right? Xiaofeng, wasn't he sick? Is this what you look like when you're sick? How could he be so strong? With a single pull, he overturned the tricycle. The tricycle, plus the load of cornstalks, must have weighed at least 400 or 500 pounds. Shang Feng managed to overturn it. The crucial point is that the hospital's critical condition notice said he was seriously ill, extremely weak. And as time went on, even walking would become difficult until death. But the Chang Feng before her didn't look sick at all. He was as healthy as could be. Just now, in such a critical situation, Chang Feng didn't care about anything else, so he revealed his strength. Of course, he had no intention of hiding anything from his wife. Are you all right? I'm fine. I just pressed my foot, but it didn't hit anything vital. Don't worry. Maybe we should go to the hospital to get checked out. Registration and treatment aren't expensive. I'm really fine, it doesn't hurt at all. He's just pinned down and can't move. The Cheng family is known for its strong physiques, what are you worried about? Uncle moved his body and it was clear he was alright. Which relieved Chen Feng. Xiaofeng, you're incredibly strong. You just rushed over and flipped the tricycle over in a flash. That tricycle isn't light. Where did you get so much strength? Yeah, Xiaofeng, how come you're so strong? That tricycle isn't light. It would take 3 or 4 people to lift it. Maybe I'm just naturally strong. I can't talk about cultivating immortality. At least not yet, otherwise Uncle and Aunt will think I'm crazy. By the way, Uncle, didn't you just say that the Chang family is strong and physically robust? It's normal for me to be strong, isn't it? You little brat, you're asking for a beating. If you keep blocking me, Uncle, please don't hit me. I never got a beating from you when I was little, but now that I'm all grown up, if you hit me again, I'll lose face, ha ha ha. Seriously, Xiaofeng? Are you sick? Do you have cancer? The hospital said you don't have much time left, so you chose to go home. Kid, you've suffered too much. Why don't you come and stay with us? I know you're strong-willed, but we're your family. Family is no trouble at all. Would it be all right if you came over? We can look after you. Yes, Xiaofeng, don't try to tough it out alone. Everything's all right. Your uncle's family always gives me unexpected warmth. Uncle and aunt, don't worry. I'm perfectly healthy. I don't look sick at all. Look at me, I'm perfectly fine. 400 or 500 years old can just flip over like that. Who has this kind of illness? But the hospital gave us a critical condition notice. 18 minutes. Are critical condition notices still being issued outwards? There shouldn't be such a rule, right? Anyway, my uncle's family did learn about my illness, but now my condition is gradually stabilizing. They've practically become immortals. What's a little cancer compared to that? They were indeed powerless before. But now it should be fine. That might be a scam or a mistake. I'm perfectly fine, aren't I? If someone as strong as me is sick, then there are no normal people in the world. Uncle and aunt, you don't need to worry. I'm perfectly fine. I just got tired of city life and wanted to go back to rural life. My uncle and aunt looked at each other for a long time before saying, "You're really not sick, or are you just worried about us and wanting to put our minds at ease?" I'm as healthy as can be. Besides, if I were really sick and caused you trouble, I certainly wouldn't be polite. That's good, that's good. When we first heard the news, we were terrified. We were thinking of going to see you as soon as we finished harvesting the corn stalks. You're all right, that's wonderful. My uncle and aunt's hearts finally settled. That unscrupulous doctor who scammed us is really wicked. 19 minutes. She actually lied to us. The two men grumbled about the hospital, but were quite happy to confirm Chen Feng was all right. Uncle and aunt, what chores do you need? I'll help you. It's rare for you to come all this way. No need. Xiao Feng, you're still young, don't do heavy work. Let your uncle do it. I'm already 27 or 28, and you're telling me I'm still a child? But in the eyes of elders, the younger generation never grows up. Cheng Feng insisted on helping because of his strength, and quickly gathered a cartload of corn stalks. Seeing this, his uncle truly believed Cheng Feng was probably not sick, so he didn't stand on ceremony. It's a pity not to use this strength, he said. The stone mill in the house just happened to fall over, and I can't lift it by myself. Give me any heavy work. Cheng Feng chuckled and actually lifted the 500-pound millstone by himself. Indeed, our Cheng family has strong genes. Not only are they capable, but their strength is also incredibly powerful. Before cultivating immortality, let alone lifting a millstone, even getting onto the Kong heated brick bed was difficult. It seems I've really been evolving lately. 20 minutes afterwards, seeing that they weren't worried, Cheng Feng borrowed a cart. After buying necessities in town and completing his shopping list, Cheng Feng drove back to his uncle's house and returned home to begin his cultivation. He had just finished one cycle of cultivation and it was only a little past 4 p.m. His cultivation speed had increased by at least double. From now on, he could complete more than 2 cycles in a single day. As soon as Cheng Feng finished cultivating and arrived at the vegetable garden, he discovered that the Kunlun Fairy and the nameless sword immortal were preparing to spar. Kunlun Fairy, Cheng Feng said, we were the first to break through. So let's spar and see what we've accomplished recently. Let us stop here, shall we? The Kunlun Fairy was incredibly beautiful. And her figure was stunning. No matter how many overly beautified internet celebrities or stars with flawless photos, none were as beautiful as the Kunlun Fairy. However, her only flaw was that she was too small. I've wanted to learn the nameless sword immortal swordsmanship for a long time. Our last encounter was in the lower realm. We were separated by millions of miles and exchanged a single blow. I've always wanted to find an opportunity to have a proper fight with you. The Kunlun Fairy was very powerful. She established an immortal reputation for the Kunlun sect in the mortal realm, and it wasn't just her beauty that earned her such renown. She was hailed as the first female saint of all time, which offended the nameless sword immortal of 10,000 swords. With a single sword strike, 10,000 swords materialized. Countless tiny white swords sprouting from behind his head, sweeping towards the Kunlun Fairy. Kunlun immortal technique. The Kunlun Fairy formed hand seals, creating a giant sphere of light that enveloped her, flowing with various immortal runes. The Kunlun Fairy's attack was slightly different from when she fought the spider. The rune's power increase was too small. With their current strength, they still couldn't defeat the spider that had chased them last time. Under the small tree, the Kunlun fairy and the nameless sword immortal were locked in fierce combat. A sea of swords threatened to engulf the Kunlun fairy, but every flying sword that touched her rune sphere was either deflected or shattered. Kunlun Immortal Technique Azure Dragon Break. A monster resembling an azure dragon burst forth from the Kunlun fairy's rune sphere and crashed into the nameless sword immortal. The Kunlun fairy indeed gained a great deal. After speaking, the nameless sword immortal formed a complex sword seal with his hands. A finger-sized burst of fire erupted from the Dao of Qingxian sword, and a giant sword materialized before him. The giant sword and the azure dragon collided violently, shattering simultaneously with a deafening boom. Both the nameless sword immortal and the Kunlun fairy were thrown back by the force of the explosion. Humph, I guessed right. You are not a person of this era, but a manifestation of an ancient supreme being. If there are no surprises, you are the sword saintly Qingxian among the ancient supreme beings, aren't you? The Dao of the nameless sword immortal was imbued with the aura of an ancient supreme being, something the Kunlun fairy encountered during her youthful trials in a secret realm. She remembered it vividly and nearly perished because of it. The Kunlun fairy indeed possessed great wisdom, she couldn't hide it from you. I suspected long ago that you were not a person of this era. Sure enough, there was no way around it. Ancient people speculated that only the Golden Age immortal path would open. So I had to lie low. This seems to involve a huge secret in the cultivation world, but it seems meaningless to Chen Feng. He has been lying low for countless years, just to ascend to this godforsaken place, Blue Star. For this goal, you've truly gone to great lengths. Humph, when I was on the righteous path, I was ambushed by an ancient supreme being and almost died. From then on, I vowed to find the remnant of the supreme being and take revenge. Fairy, don't misunderstand. Li Qingxian has always been upright and honest. The one who ambushed you was someone else. He wasn't afraid of Fairy Kunlun seeking revenge, but he didn't want to cause internal strife in the dangerous immortal realm. Now, unity and survival are the only way. I, Li, have never participated in the struggles of the Qiankuan realm. As you know, a sage's word is law, there's no need for him to lie. Fairy Kunlun cast her gaze at the surrounding sages. Could there be a remnant of the ancient supreme being among them? Under her cold gaze, the other sages frowned but didn't say much. As supreme sages, they all had extremely strong wills and didn't think they were weaker than others, even if the other party was the first female sage in history. Chen Feng looked down at the little people. He didn't expect that there were actually conflicts among the little people. Competitors, hunters, schemers. In order to ascend, in order to live to the correct time of ascension, they laid out a plan to kill many powerful people throughout the ages. This is too exciting. If these villains were written into a novel, each one of them would be a protagonist, and their experiences would probably fill millions of words. Let bygones be bygones for now, but that doesn't mean I'm weak. When the time is right, I will definitely settle accounts with those who attacked me. Although I am a woman, I am not someone anyone can bully. The crowd remained expressionless, like still water. If you are a weak woman, then there are no strong women in the world. I've made a fool of myself in front of you, Immortal Senior. Some private matters don't need to be publicized, but a conflict is a conflict. If it's not resolved, it will always cause problems. No problem, I have no interest in your grudges, nor will I interfere in your struggles. My primary goal right now is to cultivate and resolve my cancer problem. I have no time to participate. You petty people's squabbles are beyond the understanding of an immortal senior, who is wise and worldly wise. You have no time to concern yourself with our private affairs. Rest assured, our private matters will be resolved privately and will not disturb your cultivation. Senior, I have a favor to ask, though I don't know if I should. What is it? Recently, I've made progress in my cultivation and feel my strength has increased by leaps and bounds. I want to challenge you, Senior. To see what level of existence I've reached in this world. I wonder if you could offer some guidance. Li Qingxian, you actually want to challenge me? Did I hear that right? You want to challenge me? Well, not really. Just want to test my own strength and have you guide my cultivation? My words just now were too careless. The word challenge cannot be used lightly. If you, immortal, truly accept the challenge, you could slap me to death. What people would say is, challenge to life or death, regardless of my cultivation's progress, the gap between me and an immortal is still like heaven and earth. If nothing happens, fine. I accept your challenge. No, I misspoke. I don't want to die. Senior, please show mercy. Don't worry, go all out. I want to see what level of power you've reached after your breakthrough. Don't even mention the word challenge, it makes me panic. Senior, please use Li Qingxuan's life's cultivation, the Qingxian Sword Dao. 10,000 swords, densely packed, appeared out of thin air, their size exceeding that of a basketball. Countless swords flew towards Cheng Feng. This move shocked the saints present. Clearly, Li Qingxian had held back in his fight with the Kunlun fairy, not using his full strength. He was actually this powerful. The title of the first sword saint of ancient times was well deserved. As the myriad swords rushed towards Chen Feng's fingertips, Chen Feng flicked his finger, shattering the swords. The swords merged into one, and Li Qingxian condensed his sword Dao, creating a light sword covered in ancient runes. Empowered by his own primordial essence, Li Qingxian further enhanced the giant sword with his own righteous Dao runes. Although it was called a giant sword, it was actually only larger than 2 fingers combined. Senior, be careful. Li Qingxian became one with his sword, his body covered in dense sword runes. These were ancient sword runes, legendarily the purest sword Dao runes from the birth of heaven and earth, inscribed within his body, capable of transforming into primordial sword energy. 27 minutes, a single strike surpassing the power of a saint. Li Qingxian had actually obtained them, his fortune was considerable. This trump card of Li Qingxian was truly strong, worthy of being called the first sword saint of ancient times. The watching saints were astonished. But the unity of man and sword. Li Qingxian's runic light sword was shattered by Cheng Feng's flick of his middle finger, collapsing instantly. Li Qingxian fell from the path and crashed to the ground. The little people were dumbfounded. Immortal Senior, you're too terrifying. Li Qingxian used so many methods, yet he was still no match for a flick of the finger. Monster among monsters. Have you gotten stronger? I don't feel anything. Your attack power is still the same as before. Could it be that your strength has increased too little for me to feel it? Heh, I've already undergone a transformation. You actually say you didn't feel it? That's a failure. In fact, Chen Feng truly couldn't sense the difference in power between the previous Li Qingxian and the current Li Qingxian. Seeing Chen Feng's expression, which didn't seem mocking but rather stating the truth, made the little people even more uneasy. What kind of existence is this immortal senior? He's ridiculously powerful. The little saints are once again proving the gap between themselves and Chen Feng. After exchanging a few words with the little people, everyone went about their own business. Chen Feng planted the seeds he bought from the market in the ground, planting the vegetables he liked to eat according to his plan. Most vegetables would be ready to eat in a month or 2. Before, when Chen Feng went home, he was worried that he wouldn't be able to eat the vegetables he grew. Now he was very confident. After finishing planting the vegetables and eating, Chen Feng went to rest. The next day, a series of cell phone rings woke him up from his bed. He fumbled on his pillow for a while and found his phone. Still sleepy, he said, "Hello, who is this?" "Who is this? You actually asked me who I am, Cheng Feng? Can't you tell who I am? Do you want to quit? Hurry up and give me a call." I got up and worked on the work plan I sent you. The client needs it urgently. If you mess this up, you'll lose your bonus this month. Yes, boss, I'll do it right away. Wait, I've already quit. Why should I deal with this jerk? Is it because my body is controlled by work too much and my mind has developed an instinct? I'll give you 2 hours. I want to see the results of the plan, or I'll deduct your bonus. Go ahead and deduct it. Who cares about your worthless bonus? If you're not working, get the hell out of here. Disturbing people's sweet dreams this early in the morning, are you crazy? After cursing, I hung up the phone. One word, satisfying. This was the most pleasant conversation I've ever had with a company leader. Indeed, the saying is true. Put aside personal manners and enjoy a life of decency. Having no manners really makes me feel so self-satisfied. My mood has improved a lot since I stopped caring about manners. The leader called again, and Chung Fong answered. Okay, Chung Fong, how dare you talk to me like that? You don't want this job anymore, do you? Do you know how many people outside want this job? You pack your things right now and get out. You dare to curse me? I'll curse you. What are you pretending to be, this successful person? You act all high and mighty in front of outsiders, but at the company you're nothing. You only get that little bit of salary a month, and you act like you're giving charity to someone. I give you this job because of a value exchange, not because you're giving me a salary to live on. What kind of person are you, acting like a bully? With your slanted eyes and crooked nose, no wonder your wife ran off with someone else. The worst part is, you don't even know how ugly you are, do you know that? You're like a toad in a ditch, a frog at the bottom of a well dreaming of swans. You're delusional. It's true, the happiest people are those with no manners. It's so satisfying to just talk back when you don't like something, it's not depressing. You're finished. You've offended me. I'll see how you stay in this company. I'll dock all your bonuses. I'll make you do the hardest work. I'll get my revenge. Are you out of your mind? Who wants to stay in that idiotic company? I quit long ago. Are you mentally challenged? After saying that, Chung Fong hung up the phone and went to cultivate immortality. Who goes to work? He felt great after confronting his former boss. Even the sun outside seemed lovely. I seriously suspect that his previous unhappiness stemmed from enduring too much psychological pressure, and even his cancer was due to years of oppression. He put the battle with his former boss out of his mind. Chung Fong habitually walked towards the vegetable garden. Every day he would check on the little people's living conditions. After all, living here was quite dangerous. The little people might be attacked by wild cats and dogs, or encounter these monsters. The first thing Chen Fong did every morning upon waking was to check if the little people had survived before he could focus on his cultivation. Senior Immortal, you finally arrived. Chen Fong had barely reached the sapling when he saw the little people craning their necks, their eyes filled with panic and helplessness. Something's happened. They've been attacked by animals. What happened? Li Qingxian and the Kunlun Sword Immortal seem to be dying. Senior Immortal, please take a look at them. They've been attacked by demons. No, it seems they're sick. Sick? What's the reason? Ascended beings can get sick? This is the first time I've heard of ascended beings getting sick. But it's normal, because these ascended beings are inherently abnormal. Other ascended beings are capable of destroying heaven and earth, while my ascended beings are so weak they could be crushed with a single finger. If they're not sick, who is? What serious illness could possibly kill two ascended beings? Soon, the Kunlun Fairy and Li Qingxian were carried out by other saints. The two lay listlessly on a stretcher made of weeds. The stretcher was very simple, but it was the best tool the ascended beings could currently use. Senior Immortal, please take a look. I don't know what kind of serious illness could have nearly killed them overnight. This disease is truly terrifying. The upper realm is incredibly dangerous. Not only do we have to be constantly wary of terrifying demons and strange rules of obliteration, but we also have to worry about sudden outbreaks of disease. Even saints can't withstand this disease. In the lower realm, let alone getting sick. No harmful rules can invade our bodies. Our immortal golden bodies are the envy of countless cultivators. These two little people look like they're about to die. But I'm not a doctor. What can I do? Call a doctor to treat them? Forget it. These little people are so small. Even if a doctor came, they might not be able to cure them. Reporting to the immortal senior. They fell ill last night. They were experiencing alternating chills and fever, their foreheads felt like they were on fire, and their throats were making sounds. Coughing incessantly. Chung Feng leaned closer to examine them closely. The little people were lying on stretchers. But they were too small. After examining them for a long time, it was all in vain. Helpless, Chen Feng could only take out his phone and go to the online monster forum again to ask a question. If you have a miniature world and the little people in it are sick with symptoms of alternating chills and fever. My forehead is burning hot. My throat is swollen and sore, my nose is stuffy and I have a runny nose. What method do you want to use to cure these little people? What illness do they probably have? They're lying on their backs and seem unable to get out of bed. I'm waiting for an answer online, it's urgent. Brother, have you been reading too many novels? If you have a miniature world, why don't you say you're cultivating immortality? Are there any girls in the miniature world? Are any of them sick? If so, you can have them take off their clothes first and give them a thorough checkup. Don't miss any serious illnesses. I've seen this ID before, the one who said they were checking their bodies was also him. He's really an idiot. The person upstairs is a pervert. His brain is all mango-colored. Disgusting. Based on my 13 years of experience as a veterinarian, if your little people haven't had any accidents, then something bad is about to happen because it's so serious that they can't get out of bed. However, as a veterinarian, I have a remedy that guarantees a cure. What remedy? If I'm not mistaken, your little people probably just have a cold. Take a few cold medicine pills orally, and they'll be cured immediately. It's that simple. Fourth floor, are you sure you, as a veterinarian, can cure human illnesses? What's the difference between humans and beasts? Besides, he can be so delusional as to claim he has a miniature world, so I can't act as a healer under the guise of a veterinarian. Moreover, anyone with a medical background knows that the symptoms the poster described are just a cold. Okay. Take a cold medicine and sleep it off, isn't that enough? Is it that complicated? This group of delusional people are still arguing wildly. Chen Feng turned off his phone. After the veterinarian's reminder, Chen Feng observed Kunlun Ferry and Li Qingxuan's condition more carefully. They did indeed have a cold. Did they catch a chill yesterday? Last night, there was indeed a chill that made our hands and feet stiff. We all went back to our rooms to avoid the cold, but the two of them are strong-willed, especially since they were constantly being bounced away by the immortal senior. They felt they couldn't be so weak and decadent anymore. They continued cultivating after falling down, and that was it. The weather was starting to turn autumnal, and the nights were often chilly. Even normal adults, let alone these incredibly weaklings, were prone to catching colds. Wait here, I'll go and get them some medicine, Chen Feng said. He went back to his room, boiled a bowl of water, and then took out the leftover cold medicine. He handed it over whole, the little ones definitely couldn't take it. After thinking for a moment, Chen Feng opened the capsule, poured out the powder, mixed it with hot water, and finished. He then brought out the medicinal soup and ladled some for them to drink. Immortal Senior. What kind of medicine is this? The little ones asked, not daring to ask further. But to their surprise, after drinking this unknown medicinal soup, the two of them, surprisingly, the condition improved quickly. This medicinal soup is very effective. It truly lives up to its reputation as a celestial remedy, possessing the power to bring the dead back to life. Their expressions towards Chen Feng became even more reverent. Celestial artifacts and celestial beings are unfathomable. Especially this celestial senior, who is omnipotent. Gods are gods. In the lower realm, we are saints, beings akin to celestial deities. But here, Cheng Feng is like a god to us. Seeing that the cold medicine was effective, Cheng Feng couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. As long as he was cured, that was enough. Those ascended beings are invincible, slaying heaven and earth. And even the air itself. But my ascended one caught a cold because he stayed up late cultivating and it got a little cold. More importantly, this mere cold almost cost them both their lives. Tell me, aren't ascended beings a worry? After taking the medicine, the Kunlun fairy broke into a sweat and soon woke up. Thank you, Immortal Elder, for saving my life. I will never forget it, she said. Don't move around too much. Rest and recover. Don't cultivate for now. Don't get myocarditis or anything like that just to improve your cultivation level. That's deadly. However, since it's an immortal's warning, then I won't cultivate anymore. Things are too urgent. Cultivation is. One should proceed gradually. Too much of a good thing can cause many problems. Chen Feng saw that the people were safe and gave them some flatbread. 37 minutes he then chose a large piece of beef to prepare for meditation. Unexpectedly, the phone rang again. What was wrong with his boss? He hadn't had enough of being scolded, so he silenced his phone and tossed it aside to continue his meditation. He didn't want to cause internal strife over a mere former superior. After completing one cycle of qi circulation, Chen Feng felt refreshed and his strength had increased. The speed wasn't as fast as a few days ago, but it was still progress. His physical condition had improved. His muscles and bones were clear, and his blood and qi were flowing smoothly. His physical condition was even better than before he got sick. It only took him a little over 1 minute. This time, the time it took him to complete one cycle of qi circulation was actually faster than the previous times. This is a qualitative leap. Meaning I can now complete 2 cycles of qi cultivation in a single day, doubling my strength. At this rate, breaking through to the first level of qi refining is just around the corner. However, my boss seems to be inexplicably bombarding my phone with calls. In just one morning, I received 23 missed calls. Is he addicted to making calls? Just as Cheng Feng was about to block the number, another call came in. After a moment's hesitation, Cheng Feng answered, "Hello, what brings you here? Did you get insulted and want to retaliate? I advise you not to humiliate yourself, because you can't possibly win an argument with me." Cheng Feng. I finally managed to get through to Cheng Feng, but he didn't dare to lash out. Instead, he spoke gently, "Xiao Feng, Was there some misunderstanding before? These days, jobs are hard to find, and even if you quit, it's difficult to find one. How about this, you come back to work? And I'll pretend nothing happened. Your absence will still be paid, and you'll get full attendance bonuses, consider it paid leave." What? I'm already cultivating immortality. Whoever wants the damn job can go. I don't want to serve that anymore. And this leader's change in attitude is too ugly. He definitely isn't doing it for his own good. Forget it, find someone else. I don't want to go back to that lousy company. And for you to be so humble and beg me to come back to work. Is there a problem with the project? Did you realize that without me? No one can handle that position, and it's just that inexperienced intern? What kind of ability do those know-it-all old foxes who only know how to flatter and curry favor to get promoted and get raises have? Hearing Chen Feng's words, the leader was speechless for a long time. It seems I guessed right. Xiao Feng, you know the company is having difficulties, so please come back and help us finish the project before you leave, okay? Originally, I thought that old fox and the newbie intern were really awesome and could completely replace Chung Feng. Who knew they were just bragging? With Chung Feng gone, their department was completely ruined. If you don't come back, this project will be cancelled, and our company will probably have a hard time surviving. Heh, no, you must have misunderstood something. What kind of relationship do I have with you? And what does it matter to me if your company fails? When I was here, you didn't appreciate me and even thought that anyone could replace me. Now that there are problems, you remember me. Go to hell. Who cares about you? I'm busy cultivating immortality. Xiao Feng, don't be angry. I was indeed blinded by greed before and buried your talent. How about this? As long as you come back, I'll give you double the salary. No, triple the salary. You really generous. It seems you're in a lot of trouble this time. But I still say, what does it matter to me? Go back and finish the job before you get fired. Chang Feng, you can't be so heartless. Think about it, when you were unemployed. Who gave you a job? Who gave you a learning opportunity? Who trained you? The company gave you so many benefits. And this is how you repay the company? Why are you so selfish? Heh, your brain is really messed up. Work is a process of value exchange. Learning and training? Besides, my previous contributions and gains at the company were completely disproportionate. He was too lazy to waste any more words with this guy and hung up the phone. Anyway, he had handed over his work and received his salary, and had nothing to do with this company anymore. The boss immediately sent a message, Xiao Feng, I acted impulsively just now. How can you help us solve this trouble? Chung Feng didn't even look at his phone, put it aside. Made some lunch, ate a large piece of beef, and continued cultivating. Beef was indeed the most suitable high-protein food for the human body. If I could eat enough beef every day, my cultivation progress would definitely be faster. Just like that, another cycle was completed. Chang Feng opened his eyes and exhaled a long breath of turbid air. This time, the cycle was very smooth. In the past, he could feel a little blockage. But today it was as smooth as if he had added oil. He got up and rode the wind. I felt completely refreshed and threw a few punches at will. Each punch made a whooshing sound in the air. Not only was my strength increased, but my body also seemed to have become harder, not in the ordinary sense, but in the sense that my skin's toughness had increased. Minor scratches and scrapes couldn't leave any marks on my skin. If I cultivated to the end, could I become like those immortal cultivators in cultivation novels, holding the sun and moon in my hands and plucking stars from the sky, a person unparalleled in the world? Forget it, I shouldn't be so ambitious. The path of cultivation is difficult. There are many cultivators in the immortal cultivation world. But I haven't seen many who can reach that level and become such a powerful being. The probability is probably even lower than getting into Tsinghua or Peking University. This time, I completed a full cycle of cultivation in just 3 hours. You know, the first time I completed a full cycle, it took me a whole hour. He is making rapid progress. Is this guy surnamed Wang crazy? Let me call him again and give him a shout. Out. Ancestor, I'll call you Ancestor, okay? Please, help me this once. I'll do anything you ask if you can fix the program glitch. Chung Feng initially wanted to block him, but then thought better of it and said, I'll help you. Outsource and hire someone for 100 times the industry rate. Otherwise, I won't help you. Ancestor, you finally spoke. Ancestor, but 100 times is too much. 100 times, no bargaining. Say one more word and I'll block you. No, 100 times is 100 times. Chang Feng is too ruthless. How come I never noticed how ruthless this timid, honest guy he used to be? But for the company's future, I have to compromise. This guy used to be so arrogant. Asking me for a 100 yuan raise was like digging up his ancestral grave. Now he's so easy to talk to. It seems this project is very important. Sure enough, only by grasping the other party's weakness can you get away with anything, no matter who they are or what their personality is like. They'll be obsequious. Transfer the money first, then do the work. If you can accept it, you get paid. If you see ain't, you can accept it. So, trust those you employ. Don't employ those you do and trust. Besides, Xiaosu, I still trust your character. I'm talking about 100 times the price after tax. 100 times the price, and it's still after tax. He's really ruthless. How come I never noticed before that this guy is so ruthless? Everyone says Chang Feng is a pushover, but have you ever seen such a ruthless pushover? Was this guy pretending to be a lamb before? Or did he suddenly have an epiphany recently? What exactly did he go through to make it so difficult to take advantage of him? Is there a problem? No problem, absolutely no problem. I was going to say that it was 100 times the price after tax, ha. Manager Wang laughed awkwardly. Even through the screen, Chen Feng could tell that this guy was probably more upset than if he had swallowed a dead fly. Thinking of Manager Wang's current mood, Chen Feng felt great. Knowing you're uncomfortable. Then I'm comfortable. That's all for now. Ding, you have received a transfer of 210,000 yuan from Manager Wang. Before, he didn't know how long it would take to earn 200,000 yuan, but now he easily has 210,000 yuan in his account. Anyway, with this money, I can stay in the countryside in peace. Chen Feng, having completed his village life training, returned to his room, turned on his computer, and opened the program sent by Manager Wang. He saw the familiar, long-lost code line after line of dense, hard-won code. This is the result of countless days and nights of hard work. He thought. I have to admit, I admire my past self for being able to accomplish such a large project. Fixing bugs in troubleshooting was actually quite simple, because Chen Feng had written the code himself. He could immediately pinpoint the problem. A few keystrokes later, it was done. 2 minutes later, he had earned 210,000 yuan. After finishing his work, Chen Feng thought for a moment. Instead of immediately sending the processed file to Manager Wang, he called him. This problem is a bit serious, he said. It won't be resolved in less than a week. It's been so long, Feng Ji, can you hurry up? It's urgent here. Okay. I'll work harder and get it done in 5 days. That's really the fastest speed I can manage. Ding, received Manager Wang's red envelope, 8,888. Feng Ji. Can you think of another way to speed things up? Manager Wang, great. Since you're so generous, I'll go all out too. 2 days. I'll work day and night for 2 days to get it done for you. Changfeng Ji, you're so generous. I never realized you were so generous before. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Then I'll thank you properly in the future. That's all for now, I'm going to catch up on my work. We'll talk later. I won't bother you anymore. Chen Feng then happily went to make dinner. Meanwhile, Manager Wang. He thought Chen Feng was working himself to the bone. If he knew Chen Feng had actually finished in just 2 minutes and spent the rest of the time slacking off, he wondered what he would think. Meanwhile, in another part of Chen City, Yu Jia had just seen off several men in suits from a restaurant. The men were arrogant, acting like emperors enjoying themselves, while the woman smiled obsequiously the whole time, personally opening car doors for them. Mr. Lin, please be careful. Mr. Lin, please take care. Only after the men drove away did the woman's fake smile fade, but her obvious pleasure remained. Yay, another deal closed. This deal's commission is at most 2,500. This month I'm sure I'll earn over 10,000. He wondered what Chung Feng was doing now. That country bumpkin. Ah. He must be farming. I don't know what future he has in going back to the village. My commission from one order is more than his income from 3 months of farming. But there's no hope for him. He has no ambition. I'm so glad I broke up with him. I'm increasingly feeling that this breakup was the best decision I ever made. After all, Cheng Feng and I are no longer from the same world. The next time we meet, our identities will be worlds apart. But what Sui didn't know was that Chen Feng wasn't destitute after returning to his hometown. He casually took on an order and earned more than 200,000 yuan. What surprised Chen Feng the most was not the 200,000 yuan, but the feeling of becoming stronger through cultivation. It was also very enjoyable. Before he knew it, 2 days had passed. Suddenly, with a loud bang, Chen Feng was surrounded by a bright golden light. I've broken through to the first level of qi refining. I feel like I have inexhaustible strength. One punch and I could easily take down an ox, even move mountains with overwhelming power. Immortal Senior, you've broken through. You've broken through to the first level of qi refining. After Chen Feng's breakthrough, we felt an unprecedented pressure, a pressure emanating from his bloodline. Like a high-level beast facing a low-level wild animal with a weak bloodline. It seems he really has broken through to the first level of qi refining. Such a powerful first level of qi refining. Not only him, but the other ascendants were also shocked. Chen Feng's first level of qi refining is different from what we understand as the first level of qi refining. This is the first level of qi refining in the immortal realm. I wondered why the immortal senior hadn't broken through for so long. It turns out his cultivation effects we're different. His cultivation effects far exceed our understanding and are different from your understanding of qi refining level 1. So what am I practicing? It's unprecedented, I've never seen anything like it before. What will happen? Will there be any problems? We don't know what will happen, but it will be incredibly strong. After all, it's a cultivation technique created by our 9 great sages working together. So it can't be weak. These little people who taught me cultivation don't even know my current state. What will my future hold? Maybe I can take some time to go to the hospital for a checkup to see if my cancer is still there. Now my strength has reached qi refining level 1, so I can relax a bit. As for money, I've earned over 200,000. Which is enough for food, clothing, and shelter. Perhaps the immortal senior is because you're cultivating immortal arts. Cultivating immortal arts with an immortal's physique should have different effects, right? Cultivating immortality in this world is definitely different from the Lilliputian world. If the power increase were the same, 9 saints who ascended would have razed this world to the ground long ago. Why are we so weak? At the first level of qi refining, I feel my body has been purified, yes, evolved. It's like I've shed my original species and evolved towards superhuman. I can hear crickets chirping from 100 miles away. Accurately pinpoint their location, and spot them at a glance from the tangled grass. Their tiny bodies can easily deliver a punch that even Tyson would have to call me Big Brother. This is only the first level of qi refining, and it already gives me this feeling. If I go any higher, I'm really looking forward to it. Asterisk. Ding asterisk file sent. Manager Wang, file sent successfully. Hey, Feng, you're so punctual. 2 days is exactly 2 days, even earlier. Thank you so much. You must be exhausted these past 2 days. You've worked so hard. I'm glad you didn't disappoint. You're a true brother. I'll treat you to a drink sometime. I'll definitely thank you properly. The anxiety I felt these past 2 days is finally gone today. Mission accomplished. This project is a sure thing. The listed company has a bright future. We're even now, cash on delivery. Manager Wang, you can go now. I'm a little tired these past 2 days, I'm going to rest. Okay, brother, go and rest now, don't overwork yourself. Contact me again if needed. Closes WeChat. Chen Feng decided to take a stroll in the village and found a huge rock pressing down on someone by the pond. Uncle Chen, thankfully, is still alive. To be honest, Uncle Chen is really. A single person could actually squeeze themselves under a rock, that's something a normal person couldn't do. Uncle Chen, are you alright? After a few cries, Uncle Chen struggled to open his eyes. Help! Help! Chang Feng, help me! I'm trapped under a rock. Call the villagers. Get me out. Chen Feng was about to say something when Uncle Chen, overwhelmed with excitement, fainted again. Call the villagers. By the time they arrive, you'll probably be a corpse. Should we say you're lucky or unlucky? Unlucky because you were trapped under a rock. Lucky because you encountered me. Unlucky because lately, it seems like as my strength grows, I always encounter all sorts of strange things. As if I'm surrounded by a protagonist's halo. The stronger I get, the more strange things happen. Seeing trouble and then using my power to solve it, is this the law of becoming stronger? It's hard to imagine that as I become stronger, I'll end up like in those urban fantasy novels where I encounter arrogant characters and get humiliated wherever I go. For example, even buying a carrot at the mall, I'll be challenged by a salesperson who says they can't afford it and get mocked. Or, when I go out on the street, 1 or 2 thugs will come up and beat me up, showing off my protagonist status. Or, when I'm shopping with a girl, a rich second generation will come up and fight over her. Then Chen Feng squatted down, inserted his 5 fingers into the stone, and made a lifting motion. Suddenly, he exerted force, and the stone slowly lifted off the ground. This stone is heavier than I imagined. Maybe it's because of my body. The pressure on him eased, and Uncle Chen slowly woke up. Didn't I just see Chen Feng? I even told him to call the villagers for help. Why don't I see him now? And the stone on my body is gone. Could this be a final burst of energy before death, a feeling that he was saved? When in fact he was about to die? He turned his head and looked at the stone. Suddenly, he saw Chang Feng, like an ant, lifting a stone several times his own size, slowly pushing it away. Uncle Chen's jaw dropped in astonishment. What the hell? I really am having a final burst of energy. I'm really going to die. What did I see? I actually saw Chang Feng pushing that stone away. He felt delirious, his vision blurred, and unable to accept this reality. He fainted again. In the past, only 2 words could describe bad luck. Chang Feng ignored Uncle Chen's neurotic behavior and went to get away from the rock. After Uncle Chen and Chang Feng finished, Chang Feng picked up the phone and called his uncle. Chen Daniu is injured. We'll take people over right away. Upon hearing that Chen Daniu was injured, he went door to door to call for the strong men in the village. He arrived at the destination in a hurry. Uncles and elders, hello. Uncle Chen seems to have suffered a very serious injury. He shouldn't move around too much. He needs to be carried to the hospital on a stretcher. I don't have any tools here, so I can only wait for you. Everyone looked confused. Didn't you say that Chen Daniu was trapped under a boulder? How did he get out? The rock didn't trap him. The one that was trapped just now was probably the rock's center of gravity was unstable. I used to hold to pry it open. I thought Uncle Chen was doomed. Luckily, he was lucky. It really is true. Of course it's true. Could I possibly lift a stone weighing several tons? No way, I'm only human, it's impossible to be that superhuman. Everyone, hurry up and get old Chen to the hospital. Don't delay, saving lives is the priority. But just then, Chen Daniu opened his eyes, glanced at the surrounding crowd, and finally his gaze fell on Chang Feng's familiar face. A memory surged into his mind, and he pointed at Chang Feng, excitedly shouting, Chang Feng. Tang Feng, monster. He's not human. He lifted the stone. He lifted it. Holy crap, he's a real monster. Everyone saw Chen Dania like this and didn't take it seriously. Oh dear, poor Dania, he's starting to talk nonsense. He's probably suffered too much shock. Hurry up and get him to the hospital. What should I do if my brain isn't working well? Well, since you're here, I won't go to the hospital with you. I have things to do. Okay, if you have things to do, go ahead and do yours. So Chung Fong went home and continued cultivating. The next day, he found that the time it took to complete one cycle of qi cultivation had shortened again. Before, it had shortened to 3 hours and hadn't moved at all. After breaking through to the first level of qi refining, he didn't expect to make a move again. Moreover, not only was the time shortened, but the power brought by each cycle of qi cultivation was also more abundant than before. If he continued to cultivate at this speed, after a while, he probably wouldn't just be able to push the stone like yesterday, but actually lift it. 54 minutes, that's what cultivation should be like. I guess my ALS will be almost gone too. I'll find some time. After washing up, I went to check on Chen Daniu. His family brought gifts to express their gratitude. They weren't anything expensive, just some free-range eggs, 2 roosters, and some homegrown fruits and vegetables. How is Uncle Chen? Thankfully, he's all right. He just keeps complaining about lifting that huge rock. He's probably been traumatized. He'll be fine in a while. Hongcheng First People's Hospital is the best hospital in Hongcheng. My oncology doctor said, "How's my test report? Is there still a problem with my body?" I've never seen such a strange test report before. Doctor, what's wrong? Is there something wrong with my body? Your body is perfectly fine, but there's a big problem. What are you talking about? Nonsense. Logically speaking, 55 minutes your incurable cancer has worsened. Countless times, this is an astonishing number. A normal person with this number would be a corpse long ago. Or at least completely immobile, on their last breath. But you're not only alive, you're lively and energetic. In fact, your physical test results completely exceed normal health standards. This means you should be perfectly healthy. Your health and unhealthiness are completely intertwined. Like 2 different people. This is the first time in all my years that I've seen such a case. Extremely healthy and extremely unhealthy. Does this affect my normal life? Do you think it affects your normal life? No, then that's settled. As long as it doesn't affect your normal life, then you're normal. He talked a lot. But it seemed like he didn't really talk about feelings. Can't I be my own doctor? He thought. Sigh, that's about it. The old doctor couldn't give any useful information. So he took the report, said thank you, and prepared to leave. Oh, right, remember to come back for a checkup every now and then. Although this doesn't affect your life, you still need to monitor its progress. Although your numbers are so alarming, even if it worsens, we can't do anything about it, and it seems unnecessary to have frequent checkups. But I can't help being curious. Your case is the kind that could be written into textbooks. I want to see how long you can live. After leaving the hospital, Chen Feng transferred several times and arrived home. His body was fine, but his cancer was very serious. So, was there something wrong with him? Judging from his body's reactions, he definitely wouldn't die, but the cancer had worsened. Oh well, he wouldn't die anyway, so what did it matter? Upon returning home, his first priority was to check on the little people. Under the small tree, the little people lived peacefully and contentedly. Some played chess. Some practiced swordplay, drank tea, and recited poetry, and others meticulously built their houses. Some growing vegetables, some flowers, and arranging the surrounding scenery. This group of ascended beings finally understood that cultivation and life were long-term commitments. They wanted to live here for a long time and began to focus on building their home. Just as Chun Feng was quietly observing the little people's lives, a slight explosion disturbed the peace of this world. 3 small black holes appeared around the sapling. 9 ascendants, hearing the commotion, immediately took to the air and stood before the black holes. More ascendants. Who could it be? Before we ascended, we used our divine sense to search the Qianquan realm. There were no more cultivators at the saint level. Why? Perhaps some beings are using secret treasures to conceal their auras, hoping to reap the benefits later. Let us scout ahead so they can collect their rewards later. This is the spatial passage. Soon, 3 figures slid down from the black hole. The black hole suddenly closed, leaving only 3 newly ascended cultivators. When they saw the true forms of those 3, the 9 saints' expressions changed to surprise. "It's you! You hid so well," they exclaimed. "These 3 aren't human. 3 dark, strange beasts, 3 newly ascended creatures." Huddled together warily upon noticing the 9 saints. 9 saints. You're still alive. These 3 beasts were corrupted creatures, a black-blooded Qilin, a dark demon dragon, and a black-feathered phoenix. These 3 were infamous fallen beasts. Having committed countless crimes in the Qianquan realm to break the rules of the Great Tao, they were enemies of the cultivation world. Very well, since you've ascended here. Then die here. With your strength, you'll die here. The black Qilin's body rapidly grew to the size of an adult's fist. The black Qilin, black dragon, and black phoenix, the 3 fallen creatures, were incredibly arrogant. Even though they had just ascended and were outnumbered, they were still fearless. In their eyes, the 9 saints had also only recently ascended. Looking at the 3 naive and ignorant fallen creatures, Li Qingxian and the others regarded them as 3 country bumpkins who had just arrived in the city. Were they still living in the past? Did they think fallen creatures were a step above saints? Brother, what era are we living in now? Are you still living in the past? Dream on. You have a grudge? Hearing the thunderous roar, the 3 fallen creatures looked up at the enormous creature and were immediately dumbfounded. What kind of monster was this? The 3 fallen creatures, horrified, huddled together. The 9 saints, hearing Chen Feng's words, were also stunned. Yes, the past grudges are in the Qianquan realm. Now we are in the immortal realm, on the territory of the immortals. How should we deal with this? The fate of those 3 fallen creatures depends on his will. We have no right to decide their life or death. We have some past grievances, but that's all in the past. Whether these 3 beasts live or die depends on the immortal senior's will. We dare not overstep our bounds, nor do we dare to make decisions beyond our authority. Please forgive us, senior. The 9 great sages were momentarily hasty and realized they shouldn't have made the decision for Changfeng. They all apologized and begged for forgiveness. The 3 fallen creatures, seeing the 9 great sages' obsequious, slave-like attitude towards the giant in the sky, paled instantly. At the same time, their eyes revealed undisguised contempt and disdain. They looked down on the 9 great sages in the slightest. Ha! I originally thought that even though you are our great enemies, we will respect you. After all, your spirit is worthy of our respect. It turns out you are all spineless cowards. What saints, what human powerhouses! I never imagined you would willingly become slaves to the creatures of the immortal realm. I misjudged you. You are not worthy to be compared to me. We would rather die in battle than grovel like you. To be a human's honor, yet willingly become slaves. Bah! Li Qingxian and the Kunlun fairy are not angry. This is what they did willingly. Even if Qin Feng had asked them, what difference would it make? Being slaves to immortals is not shameful. Ignorant. If it weren't for the immortal senior's intention not to kill you, do you think you could still bark like dogs? Perhaps because their cultivation level far exceeds the understanding of the three fallen creatures, they cannot see through them and cannot feel any pressure. The three of them think the 9 saints are still the same as before. Immortal Senior, I really can't stand them anymore. Please give the order to kill them. There's no need for that. Actually, it wasn't easy to ascend. Keeping these 3 animals is quite fun. This one looks like a dog, so I can keep it as a dog. That one looks like a bird. Keeping them as birds or snakes is actually quite interesting. Biodiversity is also very important in the god and demon paradise. Actually, I quite like dragons, phoenixes, and qilin. Maybe all Chinese people have a fondness for mythical beasts. Last time I was cleaning the vegetable garden, I saw these bones and I regretted not being able to keep one. Now that I have the chance, I must fulfill my wish. Ha ha. It's true what the immortal senior said. Keeping them as pets is quite interesting. But these pets are disobedient. Hearing Cheng Feng's words, the 9 great saints were overjoyed. Keeping fallen creatures as pets, who in the Qiankuan realm would dare to have such a thought? Who could do that? Pets of fallen creatures. Upon hearing this, the 9 great saints' originally depressed hearts were instantly relieved. But the 3 fallen creatures were furious, glaring at Cheng Feng. How dare you insult my fallen race like this? I will make you pay the price. Even if you are an immortal, we will still kill you, you 9 lowly scum of the Qiankuan realm. Watch how we kill immortals. We are not as useless as you. As the top combat power of the Qiankuan realm, you have no backbone at all. These 3 little ones were very irritable. They wanted to stage a scene of slaying immortals, while the 9 great sages stood with their hands clasped, ready to watch the show. The 3 fallen creatures, side by side, soared through the sky, looking down upon the world as if they were the center of the 9 heavens and 10 earths. Arrogant and unruly. They looked down on the 9 great sages and even on the creatures of the celestial realm. No wonder, this combination of dragon, phoenix, and qilin was feared in the lower realms. Even sages would be annihilated by their presence. They possessed an invincible aura and the capital to be arrogant. Even in the celestial realm, they maintained an invincible mentality. Even though we are celestial beings, we still wish to kill them. Even though we come from the Qiankuan realm, and even though we must contend with the rules of the celestial realm, we are still invincible. You are welcome to come and try. So what if we are celestial beings? Slaying immortals is my wish. The 3 fallen creatures stared directly at Cheng Feng, their fighting spirit surging and about to materialize. Senior, I can't stand it anymore. How about I take care of them for you? The 3 fallen creatures glanced back at the 9 saints and found them smiling at them as if they were 3 clowns. This was unacceptable to them. We are so powerful. What kind of look is that? Are you looking for death? Really? What makes you so arrogant and fearless? These 3 little things seem quite powerful in your world. I'd like to see how they compare to insects. We've looked down upon the human world for so long, and you dare compare us, the supreme beings, to insects? Humph. Just empty words. I'll annihilate him directly, let him know that fallen creatures cannot be insulted, those who are insulted will suffer eternal torment. The dragon, phoenix, and qilin were enraged and immediately unleashed their divine powers, charging towards Cheng Feng with overwhelming force and earth-shattering power. They believed that even immortals would pale at the sight of such power. The 3 fallen creatures, like 3 small light bulbs emitting black light, crashed into Cheng Feng. Indeed, it was amazing. This was the first time they had ever seen something emitting black light. But before he could think further, the 3 fallen creatures rushed to his side and flicked his fingers 3 times. The black light shields on the three fallen creatures were shattered, and they fell to the ground one after another. Simultaneously, the three fallen creatures spat out a mouthful of black blood, their three pairs of eyes staring in horror at the enormous creature in the sky. We are known as invincible. The fallen light, capable of instantly killing saints, annihilating gods, and slaughtering Buddhas, was shattered with a flick of a finger. Just who is this colossal immortal? He's terrifying. He didn't use any rules or spells, just his bare body. He almost annihilated us with a flick of his finger. Are immortals this monstrous? The 9 saints, who were watching them intently, were also watching them with amusement, as if they were watching a joke. The Black Qilin finally understood why they had been so relaxed from beginning to end. These people already knew the outcome. They're no stronger than insects. The force of his attack just now was still a bit too much. He almost killed them. Although I had restrained myself and used the least amount of force, upon hearing this, the three fallen creatures were so angry that they wanted to vomit blood and curse. However, they knew that what Qin Feng said might be true. It wasn't that the other party was insulting them, but that they were simply too weak. If the immortal senior wanted them to die, they would have died long ago. They could even annihilate them without the immortal senior lifting a finger. Hearing this, the Black Qilin and the 3 beasts couldn't stand it. They couldn't beat a terrifying immortal, but they could beat you. We are the recognized ceiling of the cultivation world in the Qinquan realm. Similar to the level of immortality in the mortal world. What are you pretending for? You weakling saints. I can easily defeat you with one hand. Kunlun immortal technique? The 3 fallen creatures instantly doubted their existence. Because they realized that the cultivation level of the Kunlun fairy had exceeded their comprehension. With a loud bang, the 3 fallen creatures were blasted away without any ability to resist. After regaining their footing, the 3 fallen creatures were in a sorry state, with wounds of varying degrees on their bodies. The Kunlun fairy had actually grown to this level. The immortal realm was indeed extraordinary. The situation was critical, and they had to find a chance to escape. Ha, you bunch of useless saints can achieve this. Give us time, and we can catch up with you and surpass you. We can even wipe out this great immortal. As long as we have some time to grow. The Black Qilin had already listed Chung Feng and the 9 saints as mortal enemies in his heart. 30 years east of the river, 30 years west of the river. One day we will repay all the humiliation you have given us today. The Black Qilin gave the dragon and phoenix a wink. The tacit understanding of the 3 beasts over the years allowed them to quickly understand the meaning in each other's eyes. Mortal enemies should not be kept for long. They should wait for the future to take revenge. After the 3 fallen creatures finished their harsh words, without looking back, they fled at top speed. Does that make me sound like the villain? 30 years east of the river, 30 years west of the river, you guys don't understand the situation, do you? In the immortal realm, without the protection of an immortal senior, you might not even survive 3 hours. Those 3 idiots, that place is a forbidden zone. No creature other than the immortal realm can survive there. After escaping, the 3 beasts were prepared to face the endless pursuit of the 9 great sages and an immortal realm ruler. But they found that Chung Feng hadn't moved, nor had the 9 great sages, they were just watching them escape with interest. The 9 great sages' eyes were full of mockery. You dare mock me? Wait until my cultivation is complete, I'll definitely kill you all. Before the 3 fallen saints could finish thinking about revenge, they found themselves weak and powerless, crashing straight to the ground. Accompanied by a feeling of suffocation. This was the rhythm of their demise, they were going to die. What was going on? The 3 beasts had just ascended to the immortal realm and naturally didn't know the rules of the immortal realm. 1. They couldn't leave the range of the Chaos World Tree. Otherwise they would be obliterated by the rules of the immortal realm. 2. 1. Do not provoke giants. For they can annihilate chaotic monsters and ascended beings with a single finger. 2. You must maintain good relations with giants. Without their protection, you will be killed by suddenly appearing chaotic monsters. 3. You must obtain the protection of giants. Without their food, you will starve to death in the celestial realm. For this is the territory of giants. They can decide whether you can live here. Take a look around at the fallen ascended predecessors and see what happened to them. You'll realize this world is probably more dangerous than you imagine. In short, don't wander around recklessly, don't offend anyone, and most importantly, cultivate a good relationship with the giants. This is the survival rule of the immortal realms summarized by the 9 sages. As for those 3 fallen holy objects, they seem to have made every mistake imaginable. They're practically asking for trouble. You can be proud, but you can't be stupid. Seeing the 3 fallen holy objects causing havoc in the Qianquan realm, countless opportunities. And even the fear of powerful cultivators and saints, the 9 sages are overjoyed. They feel a sense of relief and superiority because they ascended before the 3 fallen holy objects. Before, the 9 of them were also at a loss, knowing nothing about the immortal realm, almost groping in the dark. Now, seeing others as ignorant as they were, they naturally feel a sense of superiority. It's like the feeling of not having an umbrella when it rains and seeing others getting wet too. Even if you get wet, you still feel superior. You tore someone else's umbrella. What kind of sorcery did you use? Dare to let us go? Yes, you're just relying on being a celestial being. If we had the same status and the same amount of time, you wouldn't be a match for us. If you have the guts, let us go for 1,000 years. We only need 1,000 years to kill you. Now we can only use words to seduce you. The stronger a person is, the more susceptible they are to provocation. You're right. If you were given the same conditions and environment as me, you would definitely be better than me. What kind of operation is this? We said you're not as good as us. So you admit it. And you admit it so generously. No, your reaction shouldn't be like this. It should be fury, anger, displeasure, resentment, disdain. And then you say, what kind of cattle and horses dare to compare themselves to me? You're just a bunch of insects. Since you're not convinced, then I'll let you go. I'll give you time to catch up. Let me see if you can catch up. I'll also let you see the gap between you and me. I'm waiting for you to come and take revenge, then release the 3 of you. And then the 3 of you endure humiliation and cultivate for 1,000 years. If we can beat them, we'll come back to retaliate and show off. If we really can't, we'll just pretend nothing happened and avoid you from now on. No matter what, the 3 of us can escape smoothly. But why aren't you playing by the rules? We said you're not as good as us, and you actually admitted it. So what do we do now? These celestial beings are indeed cunning. They know our plan and immediately say, I'm not as good as you guys at breaking it. They're really not giving us a way out. I'm doomed. Once they leave the area covered by the little tree's power, they will become increasingly weak. This is the first time they've felt so close to death. This is real death, not a joke. But Chen Feng certainly won't let them die. He directly picked up the 3 little ones and they threw them back into the suffocating area covered by the sapling. And the feeling of suffocation disappeared. To be alive again. Ah, it feels so good. I shouldn't die, right? 1 hour, 11 minutes. It would be a pity if I did. Reporting to the immortal senior, I won't die, but recovery won't be a matter of a day or 2. Humph, hypocrite. Don't try to imprison us. Do you think we are these 9 groveling humans? We, the fallen creatures, have backbone and will never become slaves of the immortals. Yes, never try to make us submit. Fallen creatures will never be slaves. Humph, idiot. Laughable. These 3 fallen creatures don't understand anything? So they've always been this stupid? I've always been extremely wary of these kinds of stupid things. It's shameful. You'd better keep this backbone. Backbone. We fallen creatures. The fallen creatures are known for their stubbornness and backbone. These three fallen creatures believed they had more than enough backbone. You think the immortal elder threw you back here to imprison you? The immortal realm is fraught with danger and unsuitable for ascendants. We cannot leave the Chaos World Trees range, or we will perish immediately. 1 hour, 12 minutes. Just look at the elders around us. Of course, the fallen creatures wouldn't listen to this explanation, they all thought it was a lie. Cheng Feng looked at the little people of the god and demon paradise. These three fallen creatures seemed very proud and difficult to tame. Immortal elder, don't worry, he said. They have backbone. A few meals of hunger and they'll know how powerful they are. I have some experience in taming beasts, a few meals of hunger. You think you can make us submit? You underestimate these degenerate creatures. Humph, we are immortal, we have completely reached the state of abstaining from grains. You compare us to inferior creatures that need to eat? Look at these three little ones, so stubborn. Chen Feng had a headache. To figure out how to tame pets. Chen Feng even searched online for tips on how to quickly tame them. Hey! Do you have any female pets? Can I check their bodies? Hey kid on the 5th floor, I've been watching you for a long time. I used to think you were a person. But I didn't expect you weren't even human. Yes, that kid on the 5th floor definitely has something going on. Every time the poster posts, he asks if there are any female pets. Now they're not even sparing animals. Chen Feng shrugged, ignoring the online arguments. A herd of cattle and horses? Let them go hungry. Feeding and caring depend on the recipient. If you still shamelessly give benefits to such arrogant creatures, isn't that the same as being treated as a backup option or a simp when pursuing a girl? I don't want to be a simp, so let them go hungry for now. Humph, go ahead and starve. If I give in, I'll take your surname. I don't want a little animal to take my surname, what would that make me? Just a little beast. After a whole day of this, it's time for dinner. Chen Feng was too lazy to pay attention to the fallen creature's oath and started cooking. Since he had received 200,000 yuan, his financial situation was comfortable, so there was no shortage of food at home, especially 3 pounds of high-protein supplements, including beef, chicken breast, eggs, and shrimp, were prepared. 5 pieces of beef were cooked, along with 10 eggs and shrimp. Various vegetables, such as lettuce, cabbage, and tomatoes, were also included. Several dishes were made. However, recently, with the increase in his cultivation, Cheng Feng's appetite had greatly increased. After finishing, he carried the food into the vegetable garden. The 9 sages, seeing this, immediately stepped forward and thanked him for his generous gift, saying not to be so concerned with formalities, as eating was the most important thing. The servants replied yes and began to feast. Meanwhile, 3 fallen creatures were already starving, their stomachs practically sticking to their backs. They hadn't expected that their ability to abstain from food would disappear after entering the immortal realm. There was nothing to eat around, which was utterly torturous. Seeing Cheng Feng and the 9 sages, the mouth-watering aroma and color of the food before him were irresistible. The black Qilin swallowed hard, his stomach rumbling, which made him blush. It's quite embarrassing, he coughed. Fellow Taoists, they're trying to shake our Tao resolve. We mustn't fall for it. Though he said this, his eyes burned with longing, as if he wanted to leap onto the plate and devour all the food. Of course. We are dignified, fallen creatures. How could we be swayed by a mere speck of food? The black Qilin's saliva was practically cascading down its lips. How could we possibly be swayed by a mere speck of food? But then again, that food seems incredibly nourishing, like a powerful tonic. Look at the 9 sages, eating this. 3 pairs of eyes, glowing with light from the west, were eagerly watching. If not for their unwavering will, they would have pounced long ago. Chen Feng caught a glimpse of the three fallen creatures' behavior and chuckled inwardly. You talk about willpower and Tao heart? Look at you, you can't stop drooling. Bear with it, let's see how long you can endure. Chen Feng found it amusing, so he slowed down his eating. Watch how I tame you. Today was the slowest meal he had ever eaten, savoring every bite. For the three fallen creatures, however, it was a great calamity. A tremendous torment. Even the 9 great saints couldn't eat much, they only managed a few bites before they couldn't take it anymore. It was too nourishing, any more and they would explode. In the end, all the food ended up in Chen Feng's stomach. Are you finished eating? Reply, Senior. Are you finished eating? Are you full? Yes, all right. I'll go collect the things. Clean up the dishes. 1 hour, 16 minutes leaving nothing behind. The three fallen creatures stared longingly, like 3 little gluttons. How pitiful. If you want to eat, just say so. Humph. We absolutely won't eat a single thing from you. Even if we starve to death. That's right, actually, they were already a little wavering, but the pride of the strong made them unwilling to admit it. Heh, so backbone. Chen Feng really didn't look back this time. He turned around and left. Whether intentionally or unintentionally. He walked to the edge of the field and dumped all the remaining bits of debris into the field as fertilizer. The 3 fallen creatures were speechless. What a waste! What a waste! These bits of debris could definitely fill their stomachs. Even the 3 fallen creatures, perhaps realizing that everything in the immortal realm was a treasure, otherwise, the 9 great sages couldn't have progressed so quickly. Felt that the 9 great sages' auras had grown even stronger after eating Chen Feng's meal, and the oppressive feeling had intensified. Chen Feng, however, wasn't in a hurry to tame them. As the old saying goes, haste makes waste, and he had plenty of time. After finishing his meal, Chen Feng sat cross-legged on the edge of a field to cultivate, circulating his energy for 2 cycles before going to sleep. The next morning, he brought fragrant food back to the paradise of gods and demons. The 3 fallen creatures, having been hungry all night, were starting to rebel in their digestive systems. Breakfast, he said, I've brought out boiled eggs and pure milk. Let's see how you 3 cope now. Chen Feng carried the breakfast. Upon reaching the field, he discovered 3 fallen creatures languishing listlessly by the barrier, muttering amongst themselves. He realized he could no longer roam the world as before. His dream of conquering the immortal realm and suppressing its giants had shattered. In this world, he found himself far weaker than he had imagined, relegated to the outermost layer of the Tree of Life, unqualified to enter the inner ring. Last night, he was attacked by an unknown, terrifying creature. Alas! Last night's battle with that chaotic demon was harrowed, if it weren't for the timely intervention of the 9 sages who drove it away. The 3 of them would likely be souls lost in this immortal realm. Those far stronger than ascended beings were like ants in this world, a single, terrifying being. The chaotic demons were already overwhelming us. Let alone that towering celestial giant. Just think, yesterday we dared to challenge that giant, even boasting of slaying an immortal. We were utterly clowns. No wonder Chen Feng was so rude. He wasn't being rude. Nor was he slandering or deliberately insulting us, he was simply stating the facts. We were just too sensitive, thinking it hurt our pride. After a night of beating myself, I increasingly realized that without the giant's protection, it's impossible to survive in this world. Even if we weren't hunted by the chaotic demons, we'd starve. The immortal ranks are too difficult to survive in. No wonder the 9 saints relied on the giant. If we persist in our ways, the skeletons of the ascended beings around us will be the remains of the ascended beings from the Qianquan realm. The 3 fallen creatures were now terrified. They were tough, but toughness had to be reasonable. Toughness with a mind was toughness. Blindly toughness was foolish and could land you in jail. Chen Feng brought over breakfast, unaware of the three fallen creatures' psychological changes. He assumed the three beasts were still stubbornly resisting and hadn't come to their senses. Without even glancing at them, he walked straight to the 9 saints. "Everyone, come and have breakfast. These three fallen creatures shouldn't be so easily subdued, right? They are fallen creatures, notoriously stubborn. They couldn't possibly have come to their senses overnight. That would be too unlike the nature of fallen creatures." That's what Chen Feng thought. Little did he know that the three fallen creatures had actually already submitted and were just looking for an excuse to submit to him. Immortal Xie. "Fellow Taoists, let's eat. I haven't eaten all night, and I'm quite hungry. Come, everyone, let's eat." The 9 great saints, in a group, chatted and laughed as they left their caves. The atmosphere was lively and cheerful. "Today's breakfast is eggs and chicken. It's a legendary chicken that someone gave me as a token of gratitude. It's been raised for 2.5 years, and now it's being given to me to lay eggs. It's very nutritious and quite different from ordinary eggs. Everyone, please have a good taste. This is truly a delicacy. Actually, I'm quite puzzled. The chaotic demons of this world are all so huge and powerful. How does this chicken's fighting power compare to the chaotic demon spider that hunted us before? Is the chicken's fighting power 100 times that spider's? No, it should be more than 100. One chicken couldn't even kill one spider." The little people were even more shocked. A chicken that even 100 chaos spiders couldn't kill, that chaos spider had instilled a huge psychological shadow in them. In their minds, the chaos spider was already very strong. But a chaos chicken, even stronger than the chaos spider, was unimaginable. Such a powerful chaos demon was merely a domesticated animal raised by the giants of the immortal realm to lay eggs for their consumption. This was simply too heaven-defying. Truly extraordinary. The little people's bright eyes were filled with even greater admiration for Chen Feng. To possess such strength, he was definitely a giant, even a ruler, in this immortal realm. And the three fallen creatures who had been secretly observing them actually had a similar impression of Chen Feng as the 9 great saints. This enormous immortal was absolutely a giant. A behemoth dominating its own territory, stood on a plate with a perfectly white, oval-shaped hard-boiled egg. Much larger than the little people. Even the 9 of them couldn't finish one. "And don't waste this milk," he said, "it's produced by an even more terrifying bull demon, and it's incredibly nutritious." He explained in words the little people could understand, and their eyes shone even brighter. After his explanation, what was once an ordinary breakfast had become an incredible tonic. The 9 sages devoured the egg whites and drank the pure white milk. After eating for a long time, the egg only partially dented, revealing the golden yolk inside. Meanwhile, 3 fallen creatures had rumbling stomachs. But they couldn't bring themselves to beg Chen Feng. They could only watch helplessly as Chen Feng and his companions devoured their food. So delicious. If only I could have a meal like that, they thought. Chickens and phoenixes share the same origin. If I could swallow some celestial eggs and tonics, I could definitely evolve. I really want to eat. If eyes could eat, they would have eaten everything on the plate long ago. 1 hour, 22 minutes. Chen Feng chuckled as he watched the 3 fallen creatures. A chill ran through them as they resolved to submit. Just one word from you. Give us a way out, and we'll back down. Just one word. Give us face. Just a call, and we'll follow you. The 3 fallen creatures had decided that if Chen Feng said just one word, they would immediately change their minds and follow him. But Chen Feng didn't say anything, he just smiled at them. These 3 fallen creatures are definitely tough, he thought. I can't easily tell them to submit. Let's wait and see. We have to take it one step at a time. Let's starve them a bit and see what happens. Anyway, tough as nails. If the three fallen creatures could hear Chen Feng's true feelings, they would cry. We really don't have that much backbone. It's all an act. Just say one word. Just one word and we LL surrender. We're easy to talk to, really. Don't believe me? Try it. Chen Feng thought, unaware of the psychology of the three fallen creatures. He assumed they were proud and wouldn't easily submit. Little did he know, these three had already submitted. They were well fed and watered, with only a few leftovers. Chen Feng glanced at the three fallen creatures. And their eyes lit up with surprise. It's finally here. Just say one word, and we'll definitely follow you. Please. Just say one word. They pleaded, anticipating Cheng Feng's words and feeling their opportunity had arrived. But Cheng Feng merely glanced at them. I originally wanted to invite you all to eat, but given your personalities, you'd definitely look down on me. Inviting you would surely feel insulted. Fine, I won't presume to be so kind. I hope you three will think things through. In this world, not having enough to eat can truly lead to starvation. With that, Cheng Feng picked up his tray and left. The three fallen creatures were bewildered. They thought their chance had come. If Chen Feng had just given them a way out, they could have pretended to refuse and then complied, a win-win situation. But Chen Feng had actually said that given their personalities, they would definitely look down on him, and inviting them would be an insult. This was a form of flattery, elevating them too much, making it difficult for them to soften their stance. UVE cornered them. The three corrupted creatures were almost crying out. You didn't even ask. How do you know we wouldn't dare speak? How do you think we wouldn't agree? And then you say it's an insult to us? We don't think it's an insult. Can't you insult us a little? We're starving after missing one meal. It's been 2 or 3 meals already. The three corrupted creatures couldn't bring themselves to back down. Cheng Feng didn't know their inner thoughts and was too lazy to care. Actually, I just think these three strange beasts are interesting to look at. Maybe raising them would be pleasing to the eye. He didn't necessarily want to make them submit. If they were truly unwilling to submit, then there was nothing he could do. In this world, there's no cure for suicide except for homicide. He threw the remaining scraps of food to the chickens in the cage, washed the dishes, and went to the field to sit cross-legged. He was practicing this technique on a large rock in the middle of the field, facing the rising sun. It didn't have a name yet, so he'd call it the nameless heavenly technique. He was circulating the technique with the wind and the rising sun. Now, his circulation speed was getting faster and faster. He could circulate 2 cycles in less than 3 hours, even in a morning. With each cycle, his body underwent a qualitative change, his qi, blood, muscles, and bones were transformed. I seem to have discovered that when Chen Feng was circulating his internal energy during the second cycle, he found some abnormal elements in his body, similar to inert substances. These were distributed throughout his meridians and qi, and his internal energy would get stuck in these inert substances, like a tiger stuck in mud, moving slowly. This was the culprit hindering his super-fast circulation speed. Every time he passed through these areas, it took a long time to break through. Could scraping away these inert substances increase speed? Chen Feng himself hadn't realized it. Unconsciously, he had transformed from a passive, imitative cultivator into a thoughtful one, a significant advancement. This indicated that as he progressed further on his cultivation path, he was able to summarize his own experiences. He had become a true cultivator. But how to remove these inert substances? He pondered endlessly, lacking practical experience. So he tried with action. Chen Feng closed his eyes, circulating his internal energy, using the inert substances to try and shake them. But the inert substances clung tightly to his body like maggots, as if they were part of his body, impossible to move. Were these things impossible to remove? Were they innate, inherent to cultivators? He would ask the 9 great saints at lunch. Chen Feng tried his best, but to no avail. Just as he was about to give up, he discovered he had actually managed to separate a small piece of inert matter from his body using all his strength. Success, he exclaimed. He immediately concentrated, using his qi to move the inert matter through his meridians to his intestines, hoping to expel it through the large intestine. But even this small amount of inert matter took him a full hour to transport to the processing point. Chen Feng was exhausted and drenched in sweat. However, to his surprise, after clearing that small amount of inert matter, the exerciser moved smoothly to that spot. He wasn't sure if it was just his imagination, but he felt his body had become more agile. Now, if he were to practice the technique again, the time would definitely be shorter. Just clearing a small amount of inert matter had already brought him to this state. What would it be like if it were completely cleared? Would he only need 1 minute to complete a full cycle of the technique, and would his body's agility? The unexpected joy of being as fast as lightning made Chen Feng very happy, but he didn't continue cultivating. Instead, he looked at the sky and realized it was lunchtime. He wondered what the 3 strange beasts wanted. He decided to let them be. The main meal was elaborate, with beef brisket, tomato, shrimp, pork heart soup, rice, and cabbage, a feast for the eyes, nose, and palate. And the aroma was invigorating. Cheng Feng and the 9 saints shared the meal with relish, their mouths greasy with oil, making it hard to resist. Cheng Feng still ignored the 3 fallen creatures. These 3 were composed in powerful figures, they wouldn't be easily subdued. The 3 fallen creatures looked even more unwell. Not because they were angry with Chen Feng and the others, but because they were extremely hungry. In the lower realm, eating or not was irrelevant, they had reached the state of abstaining from grains and hadn't eaten for countless years. But in the immortal realm, the consumption was enormous, even breathing required a lot of energy, and they needed to eat. This was unexpected. Their bodies weren't large to begin with, and their energy reserves were limited. After more than a day without food, even humans couldn't endure it, let alone 3 fist-sized strange beasts. It was no exaggeration to say that they were starving and miserable. They could only lie listlessly at the edge of the barrier, watching Chen Feng and the others feast. Their hearts were filled with bitterness. What made them even more speechless was that these 10 people were eating, and yet they were describing how delicious it was, how wonderful the taste was. This only made the 3 fallen creatures even hungrier. So delicious. He. This beef must be from a terrifying creature from the celestial realm. Just a little bit and my blood will swell, I'm about to break through. This is a great tonic. I can't get this in the lower realm. So delicious. A divine pill. To be able to eat something so good is a blessing. The aroma is irresistible, making our stomachs rumble. The words were definitely said intentionally for the 3 fallen creatures to hear. The 3 fallen creatures felt bitter. We want to eat. We want to submit. But the giant's words had blocked our path to surrender. They couldn't bring themselves to do it. What to do? Chen Feng had no idea. Seeing the 3 fallen creatures lying there arrogantly and unmoved, as if they disdained to speak to them, not even bothering to lift their eyes, showing extreme contempt, what else could this be but stubbornness? As expected, fallen creatures are fallen creatures. Their nature is tenacious. These degenerate creatures probably won't submit. Trying to persuade them is useless. Look how arrogant they are, preferring death to submission. Look at their incredible character. Truly degenerate creatures. Actually, the degenerate creatures were so hungry they couldn't even be bothered to lift their heads. After finishing his meal, Chen Feng cleaned up the dishes and naturally took the rest with him. Under the pleading gaze of the 3 degenerate creatures, he took them away. They wanted to beg for some food, but they couldn't hold on any longer. But in the end, they didn't say anything, too embarrassed. Only after Chen Feng disappeared did they regret it deeply. What's the value of face? Can face feed you? So regretful. If I had another chance, I would definitely beg for some food. Maybe there's still a chance. When the giant returns, we'll directly express our feelings. He'll surely come back to check on us after putting down the dishes, right? They were hoping this time, without hesitation or wavering. But after putting down the dishes, Chen Feng really didn't come back. He didn't even take a nap and went straight into cultivation. After discovering the benefits of clearing inert matter, he didn't rush into cultivation but instead used his qi to continuously peel away the inert matter from his body. I believe this will definitely benefit my future. This will definitely be of great help. There are 300 or 400 points of inert matter in the key areas. It will take about 10 days to half a month to completely clear them. However, if I clear these key areas, my cultivation speed will greatly increase. This is a virtuous cycle. In one afternoon, he cleared 15 points, and he felt much more relaxed and stronger. The speed of circulating the cultivation technique also greatly increased. Now, he can circulate the energy for one cycle in about 2 hours. Sure enough, finding the key is the best shortcut to cultivation. Let's see what happens when all the inert matter in the circulation path is cleared. At dinner time, Chen Feng cooked as usual. He was in a good mood today and stewed a whole chicken. The chicken was not cut into pieces. Chicken soup is edible. He added various tonics to the chicken soup, such as ginseng. When the dish was served to the paradise of gods and demons, the 3 fallen creatures could no longer hold on. They were really starving to death. Giant Immortal Senior, we surrender. We are willing to submit. Please give us some food. We are starving to death. We are truly surrendered. The eyes of the 3 fallen creatures turned red. When they saw Chen Feng arrive, they were like 3 little dogs seeing the moment their long-absent owner opened the door. The 3 puppies pounced on Chen Feng. They scurried from the edge of the barrier to his feet. Abandoning all pretense, weighing the pros and cons, and outwitting him, they just wanted a bite. They were too weak to fly, only able to run on the ground with their last ounce of strength. Seeing the 3 fallen creatures' frenzied state, Chen Feng was dumbfounded. His first reaction was disbelief. What are you doing? Aren't these 3 fallen creatures supposed to be tenacious and unyielding? What's going on? I don't believe it. I absolutely don't believe they'd submit so quickly. I was originally planning to starve them for a day before considering whether to subdue them. Oh, I see. You're testing me. You want to mock me. If I trust you, you'll laugh at me for falling for your trick. You fell for even the smallest trick and call me something ridiculous. Don't be silly. Fallen creatures don't submit so easily. No, that's not what we think. We genuinely submit. The mighty fallen creatures are a forbidden zone, feared by countless beings. They have stirred up dark turmoil in the lower realms, reaping the lives of countless races. A single glance from them terrifies countless cultivators. At the end of the immortal path, who will reign supreme? Fallen creatures, I am fighting. What is true strength? Even facing the world's condemnation. Even with cultivators of all under heaven relentlessly fighting to completely pacify the fallen forbidden zone. You silently watch over the ages like gods, overlooking the world. What powerful beings you are. I don't believe you would compromise for a mere meal. And you've only been starving for a little over a day. What fallen creature would be so weak? I don't believe it. Starving for a day is nothing. You try starving for a little over a day and see. Besides, do you even know what it means to be a wise man who knows when to yield? Do you even know what it means to become more afraid of death the longer you live? If we weren't afraid of death, would we have survived for so long? No, Immortal Senior. Please don't mock us. We really didn't lie to you. We swear to the heavenly Tao that if we go against our conscience, may we be struck by lightning and die a horrible death. The three corrupted creatures, including the black Qilin, were truly at their breaking point, uttering truly vicious oaths. Swearing to the heavenly Tao was a very serious matter for cultivators. Breaking it would result in divine retribution. Chen Feng, of course, knew nothing of this. He still didn't believe them, they were cunning. He hadn't expected them to lie so convincingly. He had almost been fooled. Their acting was quite good, but Chen Feng wasn't so easily fooled. Corrupted creatures were symbols of treachery and cunning. These were all scheming masters with deep minds. Look at their pitiful expressions. What corrupted creature would look like that? An old monster who had lived so long, actually feigning pitifulness. Didn't it seem incongruous? Didn't you believe it? We really are. Please believe us. We're starving. Anyone who gives us a bite to eat will be our absolute servant. I admit I offended you before, we know we were wrong, please don't make things difficult for us. The three fallen creatures had already said this much. And they felt they had never been so humble before. In the Qinkuan realm, who would dare make them so humble? It was always others who had been humble in front of them for countless years. They had forgotten what humility was like, forgotten how to beg, and naturally, they couldn't beg properly. They were being played with. The three beasts still wanted to entangle them. Li Qingxian and the Kunlun fairy flew to the side of the wind-riding giant foot. The supreme holy sword was shining brightly, pointing at the three fallen creatures, stopping them in their tracks, or else they would be killed. Seeing this, the three fallen creatures dared not say anything more, let alone. As time went by, they realized that the 9 sages were no longer the same people they once were. Further entanglement might truly lead to their annihilation. Their ancestors were filled with sorrow and despair. Cheng Feng ignored the three fallen creatures, regretting his past actions. Hey, why did you act so arrogantly back then? You said it was nothing, but you insisted on saying things like I'd rather die than surrender. What was wrong with you? I also regret being so tough back then. If I hadn't been so resolute, things would probably be different now. I blame myself for being so naive and making a fatal mistake. Now look what's happened. The immortal seniors really think we're tough. Even if we back down, they won't believe us. We can only watch helplessly as they devour their food, talking as they eat. So delicious! They exclaimed, explaining the wonderfulness of the food. Ugh, it's torture. I can't help but listen. Do you want some? If you do, stop being stubborn and surrender now. Surrender and you'll get some good food. If you don't surrender, you'll just keep starving. You think we don't want to? We've already surrendered. But you don't believe us. What can we do? Seeing the resolute expressions of the three fallen creatures, Chen Feng felt it was hopeless again. He could only helplessly collect the plates and leave, using the night to cleanse his body of inert substances. The next day, Chen Feng, as usual, took breakfast to the god and demon paradise. This time, as soon as he entered the small tree's range, 3 listless fallen creatures ran over and clung to Chen Feng's legs, saying, "Immortal, we submit. We really done for. Stop messing with us. We're scared. If you don't give us food, we'll starve to death. Please give us food. We're willing to pay any price. We sincerely surrender. All we need is food and lodging. We'll do anything for a bite to eat." Chen Feng was completely dumbfounded. The 9 sages were also seeing this kind of behavior from fallen creatures for the first time. Back in the Qinkuan realm, they were incredibly arrogant and domineering. They looked like pets, clinging to each other and refusing to let go. The 9 sages thought they were seeing things. These were really fallen creatures. How could they be so different from what they remembered? They were clinging to someone's leg and wouldn't let go. What kind of conspiracy were they plotting? Let go. No, we won't let go. Either the immortal senior accepts our surrender today, or Kill us then? We're all going to die anyway, might as well die by your hand. We really can't hold on until noon, we're too hungry. Our life force is draining away, if we don't replenish our energy we're really going to die. We really didn't try anything funny. If you don't believe me, Senior Immortal, you can examine our bodies, we're really starving to death. If you don't believe me, Senior Immortal, you can directly refine our essence and blood and control our destiny. We've only been hungry for less than 2 days, this is too easy to give in. He didn't know what refining essence and blood was, but seeing the 9 sages nod, Chen Feng knew he was in the bag. You were so unruly the other day. Saying things like fallen creatures will never be slaves unless you're provided with food and lodging. Fine, I believe you. As for controlling essence and blood, no need. So please, if you try anything funny, I can eliminate you at any time. Anyway, you can't leave this place. Thank you, Immortal Master. We absolutely dare not try anything funny. Finally, we can get some food. It's been so hard. The 3 fallen creatures have submitted, so they're considered one of us now. They can receive food from Chen Feng. Of course, because of their status, they can't eat at the table immediately. They have to wait until Chen Feng and the 9 great saints finish eating. This is a warning to them, letting them know that submitting doesn't necessarily mean they can sit on equal footing with the 9 great saints. They need to work hard to sit at the table and eat with everyone. Furthermore, this is also a punishment for the 3 fallen creatures' previous impolite behavior. The 3 fallen creatures watched Chen Feng and the others finish eating with great anticipation. Their mouths were constantly watering. But they could only obediently wait for Chen Feng and the others to finish eating before they ate. They didn't care if it was an insult to them. They didn't have time to think about such things. They just wanted to eat and hope that Chen Feng and the others would finish quickly. During the meal, Chen Feng's eyes would occasionally drift over and see the 3 fallen creatures waiting obediently. He knew that these 3 fallen creatures had probably been tamed. You 3 can eat now, thank you, Immortal Senior. Upon hearing the command, the 3 fallen creatures, the Black Qilin, the Black Dragon, and the Black Phoenix, thanked him profusely and rushed to the food, eating it greedily without regard for their image. It was just an ordinary egg, but to the 3 fallen creatures, it was as if they were eating the most delicious food in the world. After taking a bite, their eyes lit up. It was so delicious. Was this the food of the immortal realm? 1 egg was enough for them to have a full meal. The Black Qilin was huge, about the size of an adult's fist. 1 egg was enough for them. The egg wasn't small for them, the 3 fallen creatures had large appetites, but they certainly couldn't finish it. The energy contained within the egg, however, brought them immense joy. This is an egg from a celestial being. I think I understand some of the laws of celestial beast bloodlines. It can activate the primordial divine beast power within us. Heavens! What kind of divine beast's egg is this? The egg is so useful to these 3 fallen creatures. It's even more effective than the 9 sages eating it, because they are originally beasts. The Black Qilin bit into the egg white, and the egg white transformed into energy, flowing into every part of its body. Its waning life force was continuously replenished, instantly restoring its vitality. All its fatigue vanished. After waiting so long, it has finally rewarded. My evolutionary yolk. The yolk has even more energy. The Black Phoenix benefited even more than the Black Dragon and Black. The Qilin's egg was even larger because eggs are, in essence, those of birds and beasts, sharing the same origin. Eating half an egg resulted in a chick hatching, leaving everyone speechless. Chen Feng also found it amazing. It seemed that sharing the same origin could provide unexpected benefits. The Black Dragon and Black Qilin, unlike the Phoenix, didn't directly level up, but they still gained a huge advantage. They were so full that they reluctantly looked away from the unfinished egg, their eyes constantly glancing at it. To them, it was a panacea. Knowing the benefits of the egg, the 3 fallen creatures' grievances completely vanished. Originally, they had harbored some resentment and a sense of humiliation due to their ups and downs, but after the egg, they completely lost that feeling. The immense benefit they had received was invaluable. If they could exchange it for such a benefit, they would not submit. Even offering themselves in gratitude is no problem. Thank you for your kindness, Elder. We are deeply grateful. After finishing their meal, the three fallen creatures bowed respectfully, showing their genuine submission. No wonder the 9 sages were willing to follow you. If we had known your food was so amazing, we would have followed you long ago. The 3 fallen creatures felt they had wasted 2 days, truly insane. If they had used those 2 days properly, they could probably be even stronger now. Since you are willing to follow me, then we are family from now on. Find a place to live near the small tree. There aren't many rules here. You can cultivate as you wish and live as you wish. I won't interfere. As for food, don't worry, there will be plenty in the future. But as for housing, you'll probably have to build it yourselves. Don't worry, Elder. We have already made preparations for that. With that, the Black Qilin took out a small mountain with 9 peaks, the highest of which was approximately. Cheng Feng stared in disbelief. The Undying Mountain, towering and vast in the lower realms, spanning countless miles, had shrunk considerably in the immortal realm. But it was still large enough for them to live in. He hadn't expected this to be the Undying Mountain. Legend had it that the Undying Mountain could move. Its location concealed by the Great Daoan laws, making it difficult even for saints to find. It appeared and disappeared like a ghost. Today, he had finally seen it. This was once a forbidden zone that struck fear into the hearts of everyone in the Qinkuan realm, something they had never even seen. Yet, in the immortal realm, they could witness its entirety. If you, fellow Daoist, are interested, you can also relocate to the Undying Mountain. We're all one family. No need to be polite. It's perfectly fine. The 9 great sages shrugged, showing no interest in the matter. Seeing them reveal their treasures, they somewhat regretted not bringing their own cave dwellings along, otherwise, they would have had excellent living conditions. But who knew the immortal realm would be like this? It was such a pity. The mountain is nice, one said. Actually, I'm more interested in your Joshan magic treasure. Is it something like a spatial ring? If I had that, buying groceries would be much easier. Upon hearing Qin Feng's words, the 3 fallen creatures' smug expressions instantly froze. Seeing their expressions, the 9 great sages' eyes lit up, and they quickly echoed. Senior Immortal, they have accumulated countless treasures. The West certainly has a lot of treasures, right? It's generally acknowledged that the fallen creatures in the Qinkuan realm possess the most. If you, Immortal Senior, are interested, they would certainly be willing to offer them to you. The 9 great sages gloated. The 3 fallen creatures wore bitter faces. Their space stones were among the most precious treasures in the Qinkuan realm. A space stone of that level could hold the entire Undying Mountain. One could imagine how heaven-defying it was. You seem to be in a difficult position. Actually, Cheng Feng doesn't like to take what others cherish. If you really can't bear to part with it, then don't give it to us. We don't want to give it. But Cheng Feng sincerely wants it. Wouldn't it be inappropriate for us not to? You're right, a gentleman doesn't take what others love. Cheng Feng, carrying his tray, left. The 3 fallen creatures hesitated, already far away. In truth, they were uneasy, fearing Cheng Feng's retaliation. However, this spatial treasure was far too important. Even more important than a sacred artifact. They had spent countless millennia refining it with the combined power of their entire fallen race. It was a symbol of their race. Humph, idiots. I originally thought fallen creatures were all highly intelligent, but I didn't expect them to be a bunch of idiots. Ah, I overestimated you before. With your kind of intellect, if you hadn't cultivated through evil methods to achieve combat power surpassing even the saint's realm, you would have ceased to exist long ago. After all, they weren't human. Feeling the 9 disdainful gazes directed at the 3 fallen creatures, they immediately flew into a rage. 9 human saints! What right do you have to look down on us? If you hadn't ascended earlier, do you think you could have surpassed us? Humph. No, we mean, if you had ascended first, even the immortal seniors wouldn't have bothered with you. You would either be obliterated by the chaotic demons, starve to death, or crash into the forbidden area and die. Taoist Xiao and Kunlun Fairy were more direct. One slap sent the 3 fallen creatures staggering. Unfortunately, being first is being first. Your resentment is useless, you're the latecomers. So, I'll teach you some manners. From now on, you'd better listen obediently when we speak, or else. Suppression. From now on, dare to disrespect us? Suppression. Dare to speak arrogantly to us? Suppression. Kunlun Fairy scorned the 3 fallen creatures. 1 hour, 44 minutes including the Black Qilin, whose gazes were fierce. They glared fiercely at Fairy Kunlun, defiant but only met with her frenzied suppression. If Senior Chengfeng hadn't said you were dead, do you think you'd still be alive? You dare look at me with such disrespect? You're practically courting death. She demanded. In this world, the strong prey on the weak, the strongest prevails, and the rest are determined by strength. But Fairy Kunlun isn't like the Holy Maiden, killing and robbing. She's capable of such things. Hand over all your magical treasures, or else you'll be sorry. Why don't you take ours from the immortals? Why are you taking them? Black Qilin protested. Humph. Because I'm stronger than you. The immortals didn't take them, but that doesn't mean I can't. I'm not satisfied. The words Black Qilin had barely left his lips when Fairy Kunlun, empowered by the Kunlun immortal technique, stomped on him, causing his body to cave in. You dare use torture? I'll report this to the immortals. Zhuanha forgot to tell you, living in the immortal realm is actually quite free. I had no choice but to kill you. But even if I did, given the character of the immortal senior, he wouldn't do anything to me. What are you all standing there for? Aren't you going to help? The Kunlun Fairy called out to the other saints, hey, here they come. Li Qingxian, the Abyss Demon King, the Azure Emperor, the Great Xia Emperor, and others rushed over and gave the fallen clan's 3-beast combination a sound beating, forcing them to hand over all their magical treasures before they would stop. These 9 human saints were so domineering. Like bandits, taking everything from space stones, elixirs, magical treasures, martial arts manuals, and so on, useful or useless. A bunch of old rogues. The fallen clan's 3-beast combination couldn't beat them. However, these 9 people were too powerful, so powerful that they couldn't even look up to them. The key was that these 9 people were not good people, and they were particularly ruthless. If they hadn't brought out their treasures, they would have truly gone all out, regardless of life or death. In the end, all the treasures accumulated by the 3 beasts over countless millennia were looted. Ugh, don't blame us. We were saving your lives. You think we'd believe you? You stole our things and you call it saving us? You're not smart enough to save people. You think we'd keep all this for ourselves? It's all for the immortal senior. You think you're so clever, but I want to ask you, did you pay the immortal senior rent for living here? In other words, this is the immortal senior's territory. Even if the immortal senior doesn't care, you really didn't pay rent or give any benefits. You gave him nothing. Which means he doesn't have to be responsible for you. If he's in a good mood, he might give you a bite to eat. If he's in a bad mood, he might crush you with a finger. The immortal senior has taken a liking to you. You're not offering up the space stone with both hands, you're so grateful. You've finally become useful to the immortal senior. Yet you're still reluctant to part with it. You're really something. The immortal senior rarely looks favorably upon things from our Chen Kuan realm. Only when you have a bond of mutual benefit with him will he take you seriously and treat you differently. Otherwise, why would he support you? What benefits can you offer him? Adults are all about mutual benefit. Kindness can only maintain a temporary relationship, only a bond of mutual benefit can ensure long-term cooperation. I don't know if you've lived all this time without understanding anything about human relationships or social interactions. Hearing the saints say this, the three fallen creatures suddenly realized their mistake and were filled with regret. They should have offered the immortal senior a benefit earlier. What were they so stingy about? No wonder everyone says humans are cunning. It's astonishing that Li Qingxian and the others could think of such things.